Okay, let's try this now.
There we go.
No echo! Yay! Welcome once again to Casual Cactus and our weekly sessions. This is not our long-term campaign because, well, we finished that up about 3 weeks ago. All of those episodes are available on our YouTube channel. You can go back and watch the full campaign at this point. That's if you're so inclined to do so. Have not gone back to do recaps. I'm not sure that we're going to go back and do recaps at this point because I don't know if I can remember all that happened at this point. So, so the full catalog of full episodes is available on YouTube. You guys can go check those out for yourself. We are between major campaigns, so the lovely Danny is sitting in the big chair and running her own game, which we are calling Delirium's Domain. It's a love letter of sorts to a certain British author, let's say.
Yes.
So, if you know what the references are, it's fairly obvious. If you don't, cool, because then we can't get sued for trademark infringement.
Yes.
But
there are other clear references as well, so...
Yeah, we'll go ahead and just go over here to the main so everybody can participate in this part.
Hello, beautiful people.
The other real big announcements we always take care of at the top of every episode is our Discord server. That is still up and running. You can come check us out, see all of the news and events that are going on with this channel. Danny's creative stream, Kyrie's creative stream when she's here, well, actually not when she's here, when she's doing her own streaming. Kyrie is off on adventures around the world, and we do miss her and are anxious to have her back. Lance is a little bit under the weather. Fear not, it is not coronavirus as far as we know.
Do we know this? I mean,
well, we don't know this for sure, but probably not.
It's not him. He's quarantining himself because his family is sick.
Okay, so there you go. But he's not with us tonight. He is watching in the stream. We do also have Braden is on his way from work. He should be bebopping down the stairs any moment. At which point we will have the full contingent that we will have for this evening. Let me think. Discord, YouTube. I think that's all.
We should probably let Braden know it's important that he bops down the stairs.
Yes, he's got to bop down the stairs. So Braden, you've got to bebop down the stairs. It's not just come down the stairs, you got to bebop down the stairs.
I feel like he's probably not seeing this to realize that he's going to get kicked out of my house for not bopping.
Okay. Alright.
No! I'm away with you! You did not bop!
That is all that... sorry to hear that you've been having sinus issues there, Poser. I hope you get those cleared up.
But hey, at least drainage, like sinus drainage and runny nose, is not a symptom of COVID-19. So
yeah, exactly. So probably okay. So yeah, I think at this point I will turn it back over to our lovely DM and let her move us along in her story. Take it away.
Excellent. Thank you. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Delirium's Domain. Last week, we got to meet our interesting characters. Also, he might have said this and I might have been distracted, but he did actually film a recap, which should actually be going up tonight. What?
It's going up as we speak.
Dun, dun, dun.
It is going up to the YouTube channel as we speak. So there is a recap for this campaign on YouTube. If it's not up right now, it will be in the next couple of minutes. It was actively uploading as we started the stream.
It is an early recap, so be kind, because it's an early recap, and it's obviously an early recap. But Cactus has done quite well with what he's had to work with, so it's all good. So last time we met our characters. We met our characters in a different world, and now they have come to this world, Delirium's Domain. The title of our there's a Braden. The title of our particularly odd, offbeat campaign here.
Oh.
And they're going to inform Brayden that he must bop down the stairs.
According to the stream, you have to bebop down the stairs.
I don't know what it means either,
Just come
Brayden.
on. Just come on.
Bebop down those stairs, buddy. I don't see bebopping. I don't know how to define bebopping, but I don't see
It
bebopping.
is okay.
What? I'm tired.
Did you shave your mustache?
I did.
Looks good.
We love you, Brayden. I'm glad you're here.
I should kill myself.
No.
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 It was a bad day at work.
Oh.
Sorry, Brayden.
Half the employees jumped ship.
Oh no. Oh.
Unfortunately, that sounds about right.
Yeah.
Okay. Well,
Sorry.
sounds like you need some good
I need a
old-fashioned
game.
gaming.
Do you
I
need
need
therapy?
escapism.
Snacks. We do have pistachio Oreos upstairs.
Ooh, those are so good.
I mean,
Pistachio
you can have
Oreos.
pistachio Oreos if you'd like.
Amazing. Just in case anybody on stream hasn't ever tried them, pistachio Oreos, they're like the thin ones. Oh my gosh.
Weirdly
Not a
good.
sponsor, but they're amazing.
Yep. This is unsponsored, but if Oreo Thins ever wants to sponsor us,
Hey, Nabisco.
hey, we're here. Pistachio Oreos, they're amazing.
Alright.
Okay, so would anyone like to do a mini recap since the other recap is not quite available yet, and honestly, it might just be good to do this anyway. Anybody want to venture forth?
We arrived.
Arrived.
Here I can.
So, we each sort of had our own mini little intro in the real world, where we got to learn a little bit about who we are in reality. We all fell asleep and came together at a long table in the world of dreams. We were met by the King of Dreams, who told us that he had a little bit of a job for us, and that he was going to send us into essentially a place that he had carved out for his sister Delirium. And
First it was Delight, then it was
well,
Delirium.
first it was Delight, and then it was Delirium. He normally had been able to go into her domain, but recently he no longer could, and he wasn't 100% sure why, but he was he has suspicions, let's say. So he joined us up with
You know,
Janet.
Janice.
Janice. Yes, because I keep trying to be.
It's
I
something.
keep trying to make it Giannis, and it's not. It's Janice. But he hooked us up with Janice, who was guardian of one of the gates into Delirium's domain, to serve as a guide for us. And off we went. We looked around the little town there right inside the gate, and I forget what it was called.
We never asked.
Well, we did, and we were told, but I don't remember.
The little town?
Yeah. But we didn't spend a lot of time there. We went
For a trust.
pretty much from there into the maze of
Regret.
regret, maze of despair.
Yeah, it's the Mace of Regret.
Regret. Regret.
And
Regret.
misadventures ensued. There was a rock that walked out of the way when it really, I
Welcome.
suppose, was supposed to be a bigger deal. There was something. There was a Bodak that Janice made friends with. There was a devourer that devoured Henry. Poor Henry.
Poor Henry.
I'm glad you
Henry
remember
had
my
a
name.
bad day.
And well, it's because it was part of the recap.
Poor Henry.
And then there was a mirror, and we had to fight ourselves. And all along the way, we were slowly going mad. Some of us madder than others.
And Henry died there.
Did I?
No.
No.
Yes.
Claudius thinks. you
Claudius
can.
thinks
And
about
then I believe as we were leaving, or as we finished up for the night, we had found a tiny door and were hearing sounds off in the distance.
Yes, excellent. It was a relative near distance, as you could very audibly hear these strange grunting sounds, and I probably should have checked to see what sound I made last time, but something along the lines of
No, that's pretty close.
Yeah.
awesome, good deal. From a hedge just past this blocked off hedge where you are, the tiny door is right in the middle of the space, and there is a path ahead of you that takes you through more hedge.
Okay.
Fairly audibly, yes. Very.
So how big is the door?
It's about this thing.
Okay, so we're not fitting through it in our current size.
No.
Well, just for grins, I'm gonna reach down and try to open the door anyway.
Looks like just an open doorway.
Oh, okay, so it's not like a door. It's an okay.
Oh, I mean, there is a door, but when you open it, it's just you see straight through to the other side.
Well,
We
that's
just can't.
anticlimactic. So I'm gonna reopen the door and stick my hand through.
No, you stick your hand through a door frame, and you see your hands on the other side of the door.
It's still anticlimactic.
I mean, is this the only way?
There is a path in front of you, like that leads. So you're
Into the puffing.
yes into the puffing sound. So you're in kind of a bubble of a hedge, and there is a path carved in the hedge ahead of you that leads to the sound of the puffing.
How tall are the hedges?
Pretty darn tall. Like we're talking.
So like disappearing into the mist tall, or 30 feet, or...
Disappearing into the mist tall. It's pretty high up there.
I can get us through the door.
I'm sorry, what?
We're not Darling, we're not sure we need to go through that door yet.
I know, I'm just saying I can get us through the door.
But there is
I can go through the door. I can poke my... See? I can poke my arm through the door.
How?
Magic.
I mean, all of us, or
All of us. Not at once. It'll take a few trips, but I can get us all through.
No offense.
I'm going to
But I don't
start
know you
walking
very well.
down the path
And I'd
to
rather
the
you not turn me
to the
slow,
noise.
because I don't know if you can bring me
Oh,
back.
believe me, I don't know that kind of magic.
Okay. Well, I say we just go down the obvious path.
Janice
As you
just
just-
go through the door.
As you gesture that direction, Emmeline is already down the pathway that way.
Oh dear.
Yeah.
Okay.
So Emmeline is going towards the path. Janice has told you simply to go through the door, very matter-of-factly. Just like, go through the door.
What was her name again?
There's
Emmeline. We're supposed to be going through the door. That's what Janice said.
Get his names down again.
And apparently he's the guide.
Henry.
Huh?
Claudius.
You- Darling, this will not fit through that.
But I can help you fit through it. Would you like a demonstration?
Yes, please.
Grab my hand.
Oh dear.
I will dimension Doris to the other side.
You're now standing on the other side of the door.
Okay. There you go.
We're still in the same bubble.
This is true.
Wait, what happened? So, did I not teleport us through the door to the other side?
Yes.
Okay.
But the other side of the door is the same place where you currently are, just on the other side of the door.
So
Wait, what?
Okay, so I think he
I
was
trust
thinking,
I've made myself clear.
I think he was thinking the same thing I was, which was that this door was in the hedge.
No,
No, it
it's
is in the middle.
freestanding in the middle.
Freestanding in the middle.
It's like
so-
a door archway.
So, if we go through it, it just puts us back?
You are still in the same room. You're just walking through essentially a door frame if you were tiny and could do that. So there is something about this that you are not seeing.
I still don't get it, but okay.
So I'm going to take off down
Just
the path again.
Door frame in the middle of a room.
Door frame with a door, like freestanding in the middle of the
Oh, okay.
of the.
Oh,
the
That currently
opening.
just seems like it's a door frame with no purpose.
okay.
So taking off towards the sound again.
Alright.
following
So
with my what do I have? Shorts or ready?
Henry, would you stay behind me?
Sure.
Just in case whatever this is that our guide has done wears off.
Oh, okay.
that's a good idea. So you walk through the hedges to another opening where you see two kobolds fussing at each other in a language that Janice recognizes. One of you had like languages.
I have all of
I've
the
got
languages.
well, I've got two that I don't know that I know, but
This does not apply to you yet.
I've got 3.
It
I know
applies
every
to you.
language of the Red Court, apparently.
Yes. So as you move forward, you see two kobolds with this strange device that looks kind of like a steampunk like bazooka of sorts. And what you see is one griping at the other. You can identify that they are arguing about whether they should actually use this given where it came from. And
Where did it come from?
that would be a question for them. They don't seem to notice you just yet. But you see one hit the trigger, and this ball of light comes out. And roll me a perception check, all of you who cross into the room.
Could I use Arcana?
No.
Okay.
Not yet.
11.
13.
16.
12.
The shadows look different in the light that this orb casts when it explodes.
How do you mean different?
Suddenly a bit darker, and you think that maybe you can see the shadow of the actual kobold moving. Without the kobold moving, I should specify that.
I'm not sure we want to mess with this.
Is there another path through?
There's a path on the other side.
I mean, our dear friend Janice did tell us. Janet, whatever.
Janet.
Janet?
Janet.
Damn it, Janet!
That we're
Did
supposed
say
to go
it
through
doesn't
the door.
actually matter which way we go.
True.
But he also did tell us to go through the door.
He's told us to do a lot of things.
That's a fair point.
He says, all paths lead to the door.
Alright then. So maybe away from the kobolds with the strange shadows.
Sure.
So are you going around them? Are you turning back to the door? Where are you going?
I thought you said there was another path.
It is on the other side of this room
okay,
where they
I
are.
see.
So it's yeah, you would have to cross through the middle of essentially the room.
I'm going to
To get
attempt to
to it.
sneak up on them.
Sure. Roll me your stealth.
28.
Oh yeah. Oh, so much
Sneak all
sneak.
day.
You
That means just gone.
sneak the heck out of that.
You're gonna
And I'm
slide
going to
out.
sneak up to them, and I'm going to take the bazooka out of their hands.
By sliding down it.
There's now a very angry kobold doing what you hear as cussing, but you're not totally sure, jumping up for the gun. You hear the other one screaming loudly, "Master will be so upset with us! Master will not forgive us for this offense!" In that voice. Absolutely. And one of the kobolds takes a swing at you. Roll initiative. It's not going to go well for the poor kobold.
Beat a 29.
No. Absolutely not.
Jeez.
I feel like I know who's going first, unless anybody else who would like to join in with the initiative may.
Actually, this one.
Sure, why not?
What did I just
This'll
do
be
with my
fun.
pencil?
Mm.
Ah, there it is.
11.
Well, you still beat the kobolds.
So there are 2 of them, yes?
Yes.
Okay.
He takes a swing at you and misses very badly and spins himself around. But he does spin himself around so that he faces you correctly again. Are you guys waiting back in the...
I was gonna step in to see if I could just pick one of them up, but my initiative, I'm sure they've got me beat.
Did you roll an
I
out
rolled
one?
a natural 1 with a total of 6, so.
I've got a 22.
Oh, okay. So that's gonna be...
What's my health at?
You might still get a chance to, I don't know, but it'll be kind of far down the line. All right, they only just beat you, if it makes you feel any better. So yeah, you take firsties on this one.
All right, well,
Swings and a misses.
swings and a miss, so
The other one is just jumping around trying to grab.
So I'm going to, like, with my free hand, I'm going to, like, swing down with a closed fist on top of his head to attempt to knock him out. Does a... Oh, right, this is... 27
Oh yeah, that hits.
for a total of 10 points of slashing damage.
Oh, he did. You
And then the second attack is going to go after his friend.
are you intentionally doing non-lethal?
Yeah, I'm intentionally doing
Okay.
non-lethal.
So you effectively knock him out instead of killing him, but he is very, very
And
out.
then his friend is going to be it's going to be a 26.
Yep.
And he'll take 9 points.
Same story. Same story. They are out cold on the ground, and now you have a bazooka of some kind. However,
All right, then.
everybody roll me perception one more time. You, with advantage
Oh,
now.
heaven's sakes.
Wait, me with what?
Advantage.
Oh, okay.
8.
Oh,
Nope.
nat 20.
Aha.
A
Messy
19.
sounds.
Also
Uh-huh.
a 19.
Yes, now you can use echolocation, apparently. So, you two see it for the first time. That shadow of the kobold that was outlined on the hedges is definitely moving. It did not go down with the kobold, and it is coming towards you. You can tell that this thing has life to it now. Like, it is going to attack you. You are absolutely sure of this. And you're going to want to roll initiative again.
Again?
Yes.
Okay.
So we're not going to keep the same initiative then. No.
I won't
This is
complain.
a different, yeah, this is a different variety, so we'll
I won't
allow that to
complain.
be.
Okay.
Although he did roll a nat 20, so.
I rolled a nat 20 as well.
Oh,
28.
Nice. 28.
Nat 20 with a 22 would be technically what the thing is.
Okay, with a 22. Oh, I have to find my stats for this guy because he is
Stats for the Shadow Demon.
Shadow of Doom. Ah, there it
Do
is.
do 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 do. Let me see what you
Okay, he has a higher.
Oh, I should have got a
Bonus.
5, got a 6 last time. I was
Well, it's
looking
not
at
like
the
it
wrong
mattered
spot.
anyway.
Okay, what did you guys get?
24.
21.
Hey.
Wow.
Nice.
Look at that.
Okay, so you got a
The
what?
bad guy rolled
28.
Good.
28? Okay. So. Okay. So, the shadow comes in first, targeting you because you have just subdued the kobolds.
Okay.
And it's going to take a swipe and a bite at you.
Okay.
The swipe does not hit at all. The bite, on the other hand, is going to let's see. So yeah, that's going to be a 24. to
Oh yeah,
hit.
that'll hit.
Okay, and we're gonna have. Oh, I need to check and see if Janice is rolling initiative with us. Sorry, Janice. Yeah, if you would like to, you can roll. We can try and work you in there. 3d8 plus 4. Okay, so 8, 9, 10. So that's going to be 17 points.
Ow. Okay.
And then it comes back to you. Where did I just write that down? No, Brayden.
Hello. Hit me.
You!
Kill everything, man. I'm going to cast. I'll just do a poison spray.
At a shadow?
I mean,
You can try.
Yeah, hold on. I
poking
have
it with a
to-
stick, like,
I guess.
I don't know what.
It
this
does
thing
seem
does
a bit
or
more
doesn't.
solid than it did before.
now has it become 3-dimensional, or is it still in a 2-dimensional space working along the ground?
It is vaguely three-dimensional, but it's still attached to the surfaces around it.
It needs,
if that
it
makes
needs to
sense.
make a Constitution saving throw.
Okay. Oh, that it fails.
Okay. And it's gonna take
It doesn't matter what his bonus on that was.
6 points of poison damage.
Okay.
How close are we all at this point? I'm assuming only.
And that's my turn.
Sorry, Emmeline was immediately in contact.
Yes. So I'm gonna say you've got about like 35 to 40 feet between you and the center of the room, which is where he attacked the kobolds.
Okay.
And then he's about right in the center of the room.
Okay.
So 35 to 40 feet either side.
Okay, I'll be right next to him because it's like a range of 10 feet for poison spray. So,
Okay.
assuming the shadow is right
So you're
there.
moving up to that, yeah. So
Okay.
he's kind of working within that. To answer your question about kind of how it appears when it comes in to take a bite, it does have to be on something. So it's like the shadow moves on the ground, almost like it's attacking at his feet, but then can crawl up him. So it's kind of this kind of thing,
Okay.
if
got
that
it.
makes sense. All right, so that was Brayden.
Yes, it was me.
Heath?
Okay. I'm going to turn the bazooka thing on the shadow and pull the trigger and fire.
Okay.
I'm glad we're all still outside the room.
Yeah.
I
I'm not sure what sort of bonus I should apply to that. Is it a dex-based weapon? Is it what?
Is
It
it,
would
a
be-
dexterity saving throw?
Roll me an intelligence. Like use the intelligence.
Ooh.
Okay, well it's still a 19.
Oh, okay. You successfully shoot the gun. Since the shadow is currently attached to you, however, how are you aiming this? Are you like aiming it?
Oh.
I mean, it's attached. but
Okay,
it's not-
okay. So
It's
I
not
guess I didn't
totally
realize.
Isn't there
on
two
you.
of them though, or is there just
There's
one?
just one.
There's just the one.
Okay.
I mean, it's still attached to the ground. Right?
Yeah, it's still attached to the ground, but it's also like halfway on you. Are you like, how are you aiming this shot?
I'm aiming for where it's on the ground.
Okay, where it's on the ground, there is a downed kobold. Does this change your thought process any? If not, that's fine.
No.
Okay, so this orb of light comes out, and then you see where the orb of light cast a shadow over the kobold on the ground. There is now another shadow monster.
Is there also one behind Keith?
No,
Interesting.
Well, cool.
good question.
Oh.
But did it do anything to the other shadow?
Actually,
No.
dog should have attacked, but that's fine.
Oh, I forgot you had your dog.
I forgot I had the dog.
Okay. Well, that was my first attack action. So with my second attack action,
Or does firing the thing require just one full action?
Or is it an attack?
It would be. I would consider that an attack.
okay. So the shadow monster, is it attached to the kobold
Yes.
on the ground?
Yes.
Okay.
Needle and thread that thing real fast.
No, actually, I want to go the other way. I'm actually going to reach down, grab the kobold by the scruff of the neck, and lift him up off the ground.
Interesting.
That is interesting.
Break the connection to the shadow.
What you see is interesting. The shadow monster seems to slip into the shadow of the closest object, which would be the other downed kobold. So you see him go from one shadow into the other very quickly.
Ah.
They're
Has
slippery
to
little
be-
boogers.
Has to be attached to something. So we can just.
Is there any other source of light in the room?
There is, you've got a torch, right?
I have a pocket watch with light cast on it.
Yeah, a light. So he is the other source of light in this room currently.
Okay. Then I'm going to. I don't know. Would you consider me lifting the kobold up an attack action or not?
Not an attack action.
Okay. Then I have.
Getting into stuff where action economy, I'm like, oh no!
Well, I mean, you get to make those calls. So,
The call is no, mayonnaise is not a weapon.
Yeah.
No, mayonnaise is not a weapon.
Hey.
It did some damage.
Some.
So technically.
Okay. In that case.
I will say what Brayden did seem to, like, it seemed like it wounded it. It's still quite strong, but it was affected by it. I feel like I should say that.
But now there's two of them.
This is correct.
Okay.
Do it.
I will go ahead and. I will go ahead and use a key point and do a flurry of blows
Okay.
against the creature, which is two more attacks. That is a natural 20.
Oh, well, it clearly is.
So that'll be 15 points of slashing damage.
That'll do something.
And then the second flurry of blows is going to be a 27 to hit.
That also definitely hits.
And that will deal an additional 8 points of slashing damage.
I see what you did there, Nova. 8, so it's 23, so 23 total.
I can't get my data. It keeps like breaking out.
Okay. So you connect with all of those, and you can see that it is visibly, like, every time you connect, it's strangely solid for a shadow,
Okay.
but it's also, there's almost like a wisp of smoke
Okay.
that comes up, and each time it gets a little smaller.
Okay.
So it seems to be whittling away some of what has been created by this.
And then I'm also going to say to my friend Henry, "Oh dear, you might want to put that light out."
Okay.
I need that to see.
Alright, so that's me.
Do you actually put, well, I guess it's not your turn yet, we'll get to that. So, Nat.
I cast darkness.
Okay, can you see in darkness?
No.
Where
But
do you put the
Where do you
darkness?
cast darkness?
I never said this was a
Emily.
good idea.
I'm enjoying this though.
Making all the wrong decisions.
I mean, there was some logic behind it.
Oh.
I don't know if it's gonna work, but we'll see. So yes, I'm casting darkness. Just somewhere where it can encase both of the shadows. It's got a
Okay.
15-foot radius.
Is this like the gingerbread thing?
What?
Was the house made of flesh, or was
What?
the gingerbread
Oh.
man made of house?
Oh, I
He
see.
screamed, for he did not know.
So it's a 15-foot radius sphere. And I just want to get both of them in it. So
Are you trying to skirt to keep him out of it? Or her, sorry.
I mean, is there a way that I can do that?
Not if you want to encompass all of it. All of the one that attacked him first.
Okay, well, sorry, Andy.
It's okay.
Okay. So there's now a big black spot over Emmy and the shadows. Yeah, that's a thing that happened now. Steven. Oh, was that it?
Well, I don't think that I can.
I wasn't sure if you wanted to move or anything like that, but
I didn't think this through super well. That's it.
okay.
Right out of Gideon's playbook.
Yep. What you got, Claudius?
Yeah, except Gideon could see through it.
I'm just gonna step up to the edge of the darkness and hold my action in case a shadow comes out.
Okay. I said I didn't need a map. I should have had a map because this is not going the way I thought it would. I should have realized that was going to be a thing. And we're back up to shadows. So, the first shadow, now quite happy in its nice dark environment, is going to attack you again.
It can go wherever it freaking wants.
Oh, but thankfully for you, I can't roll for beans. That one might hit. Does a 15 hit? Okay, never mind. That one might not hit.
Oh, good. I
So-
didn't want to hurt you.
In spite of the fact that they seem quite empowered now in their new nice black little home, they can't hit you to save their lives because they're morons. And then the other one Okay, so one of them is going to use their shadow slip ability to slip into, now that you are next to the big black pit o' despair. You are casting a shadow because there is light in the room, and it is going to slide into your shadow and take a swing at you.
Okay.
With a let's see, does an 18 hit?
It does.
Okay, so that's going to be the 2d8. So that's going to that's going to be 18 points of damage.
Okay. What is that? 16 would be.
And then we're gonna.
I just add up the
to-
damage I take, and when it gets higher than my hit points, I go down.
That's fair.
And we're going to go to Brayden, who. Oh wait.
Shadow
Oh.
came out.
Yes.
So I'm going to stab it.
Stab it. Stabby stab.
Okay. 2 attacks.
Wow.
Wow.
Both.
So that's going to be a 12 and an 11. I'm assuming neither of those hit.
No.
Yeah, I don't think
Yeah, that was a 2 and a 3.
Oh.
so.
Oh.
Ouch.
Okay, so coming back to Brayden, who has just seen, Henry has just seen darkness be cast, and the shadow just slip out of the darkness into your shadow and
right.
attack you.
From where I saw Emmeline last, is Emmeline within 10 feet of Claudius?
No.
Okay.
She would be, she's close to him, but not quite that close. So she's kind of on the outside edge of darkness, and he's kind of like at a 90-degree angle. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Maps. Next time, maps. I almost said, Gideon, you're helping me make a map. That's not Gideon, that's Lance.
I'm sure Gideon would happily help you.
If it benefited him.
I'm going to I'm going to run into the darkness,
Okay.
grab Emmeline, and I'm going to thunderstep us out of the darkness.
That's pretty badass. Okay.
The shadow needs to make a Constitution saving throw, please.
How are you finding me in the darkness?
I assume I go for the middle and I just wrap my arms around you. I know your last location.
Does a 14 make it?
Nope.
Okay.
I have a 17. So it's going to take 21 points of thunder damage. And I will teleport us to the opposite corner of wherever the shadow was.
Oh, there it is. How many?
21 points of thunder damage.
Okay. So.
Mark off another third little spell.
Alright.
I still got 2.
So you can feel that there is like density to what you're connecting with. Since you are in the darkness, how do I want to do this? Make me. Like, I feel like you should make a check to see if you actually manage to grab a hold of Emily or
Sure.
not. I'm trying to
What would you
decide
like it
what
to
that
be?
would be. Maybe Dex?
Dex?
See if you can connect with her?
Natural 20.
Well,
Yep. Well done. Well done. You now have Emmy on the other side of the room.
Okay.
Well done. Excellent.
Her hair is just kind of standing on edge, tail puffed out.
And you could tell that as you connected with this thing in the dark, that you were doing some damage to it. Excellent.
Good.
So, we've got
Get rid of the darkness!
Keith.
All right, so where we come out, what can I see? So I'm assuming I see this great big bubble of black.
Yep.
Great big bubble of black.
And
Do I see?
Yeah, you see a dark figure that was trying to that had. He's no longer currently attacking, but it looks like they've been fighting.
Okay, well, I'm going to shove the bazooka at Henry,
Oh,
and I'm going to take off running towards the shadow,
I got it.
and I'm going to
Gosh dang it!
To
I keep
take my-
forgetting to have my hound attack.
take my attacks against.
What you got?
First attack is a 17
17 will hit.
Oh, thank goodness.
for 6 points of slashing damage.
Okay.
Second attack is a 28
That's clearly going to hit.
for 10 points of slashing damage.
Okay.
Using another key point, flurry of blows. 13. Okay, so miss with that one, and then an 18
That will hit.
for 8 points of slashing damage.
All right. Okay. So you can see more and more of this shadow. Wait, no, this was the one in the darkness. No, this was the one
On me.
Yeah,
on you. Okay.
the one on.
So you can see more and more of this shadow starting to kind of dissipate, and it's getting smaller and frailer. So it's definitely having an impact. Net.
Okay, so there's still a shadow in the darkness, right?
Correct.
Okay, I'm gonna drop darkness.
Okay. It is currently finding whatever it can cling to, which in this case happens to be
Or
like
kobolds.
it's gonna be one of the downed kobolds, and you can see it go from like this big kind of expansive thing where it was all nice and spread out to fit your darkness circle to going it doesn't make that sound. That was just me thinking. But but it just kind of slips onto the ground where the shadow of the kobold would have been.
Definitely didn't work the way I wanted it
It was an interesting idea.
to. I told Steven, I was like, I'm gonna do something. He's like, good, do it. I don't know if it's a good idea. Do it anyway.
I mean,
It
some
was an
things you
idea.
don't figure out until you try. We're learning
This is
lessons.
how a relationship works too.
Yep.
Just do it anyway.
It's a
What's
bad
the worst
idea.
that could happen?
Well, see, that's not always true.
No.
Sometimes I say a bad idea and you're like, no, don't do that.
I mean, this
Anyway.
could have
What
gone
did you
one of
say?
two ways. It just went the way that didn't go in your way.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay.
Who
Well-
knows what?
So now it's like this little bitty shadow that's attached.
Currently, yeah,
Okay.
it is. It's still. You notice as it condenses, it becomes like a stronger shadow. It looks a lot more bulky when it's smaller. But yeah, it is currently occupying a small space.
Okay. Well, I'm going to move up to it and attack it.
Do the thing. What you got?
At
That's-
a natural 20.
It's gonna work. Do the whole full damage and rolly thing.
Why do I have?
Are you gonna pump a spell slot into it for smite?
Oh, that's what my little numbers are there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, thanks.
I'm glad someone knows how her character works.
Hey,
I played a
forgetting my
paladin
dog.
for like
Yeah, I
2
know.
years.
All right. So that's.
Paladins can cast
Oh,
darkness.
yeah.
Certain paladins. can, yeah.
Ah, okay, gotcha.
Sar could not.
That's-
Sar couldn't do many things.
10.
By the end of things, Sar was nigh impossible to hit with the die roll. Just anything that required me to roll.
Do I add my bonus to the max
No.
damage?
No.
No.
Okay.
It's
I
just the
lost
dice
count.
that are full.
Gosh, dang it. 18 points of damage for the first attack.
Did you include
what
your
now?
roll?
18 points of damage. For the
18
first
points
attack.
of damage. Okay.
And if you were you doing a smite?
Yes, there was a smite in that one. I didn't
So
actually
Which was
say
that radiant?
So some of that's radiant damage.
Oh, yeah. Sorry.
Okay. Cool.
Sorry.
No worries.
Okay, and then in.
Actually, the whole thing becomes radiant at that point.
Yeah. So that's all right.
Oh, good.
Cool.
The shadow.
18 to hit.
That'll
Send
hit.
back to the shadow realm.
This one does not have a smite, and is 6 points of damage.
You got it. Alright.
And then I'm going to move back so that it cannot use me as a shadow anchor.
Well done. Alright. Yes, she took down darkness. So that brings us back to Steven.
Alright, well,
Claudius.
I'm
Stab,
going
stabby.
to try again. I'm not going to use that die this time.
Stabby, stabby, shadow.
Okay, so another 11, but also a 23.
The 23 will definitely hit.
Okay.
The 11 shall not.
And that is 10 plus 5. So that is 14 points of slashing damage. And then I'm going to use my bonus action and give it the back end. Which means I
But you took
again.
Polar Master. Nice.
Mm-hmm. Yep, pull. Freak! That is the third 2 so far. So
You just need to start doing things that require percentile dice.
We all know
And just
you
drop
all
pyramid on
percentiles.
people.
Right?
Drop pyramids on
That
people.
just drop pyramids on people. It'll just be like a Wicked Witch of the West moment. Did it work?
Guys
Did
have
it
rolled
work?
a lot better since they've started having a little
I believe that's going to be it.
All
You have to
right.
put some. You have
So
to
we
have
come
something to
back up
take the energies and put
To
it
the
together.
shadows. The first shadow is going to jump
Jump, jump, jump.
to. Okay, how far back are you?
Natalie.
Nat?
What?
Yeah, how far back are you?
Like 10 feet.
30 or?
10 feet? Okay. And you are pretty much.
Yeah, I'm helping.
You're essentially
Claudius.
flanking the shadow with Claudius.
Yes.
Okay. So. The first shadow is going to. The one that just came out of darkness.
Mm-hmm.
And is currently attached to Kobold down there. He is going to try and attack you. Okay, so that is going to be. It's 5. There's a 15
Nope.
and an 18.
Nope.
Okay, so that one fails miserably. And. Oh, that was a nat 1. And that was a 5. So the one that tries to attack you apparently caught your dice rolling. So,
So I'm going to repost
yep.
How many of those do you have, by the way?
5 per short rest.
Oh, okay.
And it will take 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 points of damage.
Okay. Alright. This one is looking pretty small and slight now, the one that you just hit. The other one still looks a little bit beefier. So coming back around to Henry.
Okay, what am I doing?
That's the golden question, isn't it?
Why don't you shoot it with the bazooka?
Because I have an intelligence of 20.
We have learned.
We have learned.
From our mistakes along the way.
Learn from my mistakes.
Definitely shoot it.
No. I'm just gonna try chromatic orbing the smaller one.
Alright.
The one at me.
Yes.
Oh.
11?
No.
I think we've established that doesn't hit.
No.
I never listen.
I've rolled that 3 times so far.
Oh, my dog will attack.
Oh yeah, I forgot about him.
Oh.
Oh.
1.
No.
Just
No.
kidding.
He's busy fire hydranting a bush. Alright. So, valiant effort. Wah, wah, Keith.
Alright.
Alright, well, same song, 3rd, 4th, 5th verse at this point, I don't know. 18?
18 will hit, yes.
for
Which
the one that's between us. 6 points of slashing damage.
The bigger one.
Yes.
So no, it's the smaller one.
Oh, right, because you moved it to me.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Second attack. 13 is not gonna hit.
Wait, are you flanking it with me, though?
I don't know. Am I flanking it with?
Does
Okay.
flanking matter for a shadow?
That's also
I
a
don't.
fair question. I'm gonna say it does still matter. So actually, you guys should have been probably taking
Okay.
advantage while you've been in this situation.
In that case, it's a natural
Sorry.
20 on my second attack.
This has been.
In which case it will be
Because we had a hard time trekking the troll.
17 points of slashing damage.
As you slash through, you see this wisp of smoke just dissipate and seem almost like it expands out and kind of implodes.
Okay.
So
How close is the
strange.
other shadow to me?
to you, it is still within melee range. It's off like to the side of
Okay,
you guys.
in that case, I will
Another key point.
blow another key point. I have 10 of them, so I might as well.
Shouldn't it be? It should. I think it should be roughly 15 feet away because I'm still standing where the edge of the shadow or the darkness was. Not that
it did
probably makes a
slip
difference.
over,
Okay.
so it's probably
It tried to attack me, didn't it?
yeah. It
If
tried
it's
to
on
attack
you.
you.
So,
yeah,
okay,
yeah.
so-
Right, yes.
I'm assuming not flanking at this point, though.
Correct.
Okay.
You're pointed a different direction.
So,
Yeah.
so this will be my flurry of blows. So I'll have 2 of these against that guy. Ow, that's a natural 1. That's gonna
I
miss.
promise there's something between those two numbers.
And then 17,
That'll hit. Are we sure there's something between those two numbers?
and that'll be 10 points of slashing damage.
I'm glad you're doing something. I can't hit this thing like crap.
There's this like dice fart that's going around the table and just poisoning rolls. Good night, poser.
Good night.
Good night, poser.
Sleep well.
Be well. Be better in the morning.
Mm-hmm.
That brings us back to Nat.
Okay. I'm going to move back up to the remaining, or move up to the remaining shadow, which is where at this point?
It's on, basically on me.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I'm going to attack it.
You'll have advantage.
Sleep dry.
27.
That'll hit. Most definitely.
Okay. And that is 11 points of damage for the first attack. And that one also has advantage, right? The second attack?
Mm-hmm.
Well, then it's a natural 20.
Wow. All right.
Maybe there's not anything in between those two numbers.
Tonight will be the night of 1s and 20s. That will be all there is. 1s and 20s.
Binary night.
14 points of damage.
Nice.
It's still up.
It is still up.
It's still fighting.
It's still fighting. They're tough, these little guys. They're not super difficult to hit unless you keep rolling ones. But they're kind of tough.
Claudius would beg to differ.
Yeah.
Claudius might beg to differ, indeed. Which, by the way, back to Claudius.
All right, second verse, same as the first. I'm gonna
Do
move.
the thing.
I guess I can't move into flanking since they're both flanking. So I'll just move to the side and take a swipe. Both of those are going to hit, I assume, with a 24 and a 27.
You are correct, sir.
Sweet. Okay, first one is going to do 6 plus 5 is 11 points of damage. The next one is going to do 15 points of damage. And then I'm going to give it the butt end as well. And I'm going to miss probably with a 13.
Correct. All right. It is looking pretty wispy and fragile at this point, but it does rear back and try to attack you again. So that's going to be a 17,
Hits.
and that's going to hit too if that one hit. So you're gonna end up taking a bite and a claw.
Okay.
So that's gonna be painful. Okay, so from the claw, you're gonna end up the claw. That's gonna end up being 14.
Okay.
Ah.
I have an app to do all the math for me.
And the other one is gonna be 15.
Okay.
And that is him. He is going to try to slip away.
Does Sentinel kick in?
Yeah, so I don't know. Does it move traditionally? Like, is it moving across the ground
Or
to
is
do
it
so?
transporting?
Or is it like from one point to another?
It has to move on a surface, so it has to be on the ground.
All three of us will get opportunity attacks.
It's a shadow, it doesn't know better. So, yeah. Go for it.
Alright, he's got
You
Sentinel,
can
we'll let
attack
him go first.
What?
I
I'm gonna
missed.
attack it.
Alright,
Attack
so I'm gonna take a swipe. 18
That's gonna hit
for 7 points of slashing damage.
for 7 points.
Mhm.
Okay. Can't count. Okay. Okay, we're good. And
Do I get 2 attacks?
You only get one.
For the one? Okay.
yeah,
27.
that's gonna hit.
And let's see, that's 8 points of damage.
Which is exactly what you needed.
Oh.
So you see this wispy dissipation kind of in slow motion and then into nothing with a little bit of a flash. And now you are in this space with 2 unconscious kobolds and a very problematic bazooka.
Right, so you might not want to fire that right now.
I saw what it did last time, yeah.
I'm gonna go ahead and take my
Oh,
rope.
good.
And I'm gonna go ahead and tie the hands of these 2 kobolds together and the feet of these 2 kobolds together, and then I'm just gonna go ahead and sling them over my shoulders and let them just sort of hang.
Their
my
tongues
shoulders.
are just kind of.
Janice, how close are we to exiting the maze?
Go through the door.
Right. Shall I figure out what this bazooka thing does?
Well, I think we figured out what it does.
Might be helpful. It
Alright.
might have more tricks up its
Right.
Tricks of the
sleeves.
stat block.
It'll take me 10 minutes to do it, but I can
Okay.
figure out
I
what
mean,
it
if we
does.
want to sit here for an hour, I hurt.
I mean, what's the point of taking those things with us?
We can ask them questions later.
Alright.
Or
I'll-
push comes to shove and
I'll
we need a
start
meal.
casting Identify to figure out what this thing does.
Okay.
Eat a kobold.
I like that you just automatically know what they are too. That makes me smile. But you've been here before, so it does kind of make sense. It's only been in hints, but so this is a gun that has been designed to create shadow monsters pretty much. There is a setting where it's just light, but you kind of get the impression that that setting doesn't get used ever.
Okay.
It's kind of like a separate thing. So this has been designed by someone for the specific purpose that you have seen just now.
Okay. I'll put that in my inventory.
So-
Shadow.
Do we have time to sit for a while?
That would be
And I
up
could
to
try off a
Jan-
couple of these wounds.
That would be up to Janice. Is it safe to stay in the maze?
And Janice casts Cure Wounds on you.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, I guess I have.
Lay on hands, but
Yeah. Are you okay?
well, I'm at 25 of 94.
So you do see Emmeline sort of sits down cross-legged, wraps her tail into her lap, and just starts meditating. And as she does, the wounds that she's taken start to close up.
Well, that's a neat trick.
Take 20 points
Of healing
Of
damage.
healing damage.
Wait.
That's my favorite
Yes.
thing now.
How
Yes.
long have we been in the maze, by the way?
So
Roughly hour-wise.
it's been several hours at this point. You've probably
Eight
been,
hours?
You're probably pretty close to. I would say probably closer to 6.
Okay.
But yeah.
That means I have 2 hours left on my hound.
Oh, how long does Janice's spell work on you as far as?
I don't know what spell he cast.
Oh, he would have dispelled that anyway, so that's going to be a different effect. Never mind. Sorry, answering my own questions as we go. So, thank you for quoting that. I like that.
20 points of healing damage.
So yeah, you take a bit.
Didn't say how much by chance?
Oh,
Or does he want me to roll it?
It would be an 8 if he just did it at level 1, so. Do
I will
we
ask.
Carry
and we
on
will
then?
see. We will assume that you get your short rest in too.
Or are we gonna say
Are we
for an
taking
hour
a
then?
short
I
rest then?
think that would be fine.
I wouldn't mind
I
that.
didn't hear
I
any
wouldn't mind.
actual objections.
No, I don't have any
Yeah,
objections
I'll take
to
a
it.
short rest.
Okay.
then.
So
Oh
that'll
yay,
actually.
6s.
Level 5, roll it. He says.
Okay.
And I will go ahead, because I'm still down some, I will go ahead and use a hit die as well. Yeah, that's fine. I'll leave it at that.
2 more.
I didn't take any damage, so I can keep watch while everybody starts healing up.
And
You hear strange sounds coming from around you, but they don't seem to get close. It
Alright.
seems like they'll wander close-ish and then they'll wander
My
back
hound's
away.
only got an hour left, so.
I feel like this is the kind of place that we need to.
No,
I'm
I'll
down
stay.
to 5 hit
Yeah.
points.
That's probably good. Good plan. Plus 4, he says. Whatever.
Yeah, 'cause that's his.
How
modifier.
Gotcha.
far back was the door?
It's just in the room over.
Okay.
Room. Big hedge room.
Right. Okay.
The whole thing is kind of palatial in a way because
Gotta go
it's
through the
feels
door,
like
but
it's just
there's no
walls.
way through.
That is.
I guess we just continue on.
Somewhere within this hour, your kobold friends begin to stir.
Perfect.
Are we talking to them?
I would like to, before they wake up during our rest, I would also just like to pick through pockets, make sure there's no hidden weapons there.
There are no hidden weapons, really. You catch like a lockpick kit. Lockpick kit. Those are words. One of them also has a coin pouch.
I'll leave that,
Yeah.
unless there's anything in it
Does
aside
one
from
of you
coins.
guys? Does one of you guys want to hide the? I can make another bazooka.
Oh. That's not a bad idea.
And then just send them on their way.
We should
That's
probably
cool.
find out who the master they're talking about is.
I will untie them from my shoulders as they start to wake up then. But their hands and feet are still bound.
Do you want me to make that bazooka real quick?
Yeah.
Sure. I will use my ability as a conjuration wizard to make a bazooka.
Is it going to do all of the
No,
same things?
It looks
just going to
magic.
look-
It looks exactly like the bazooka, but it does nothing. But it does have an aura that makes it look like magic. It only lasts for an hour,
Awesome.
so
Is there a save that they make to see if they're fooled by that?
that it would be up to the DM.
I mean, they're not the smartest, so
Let me see what it says specifically.
Oh, I like my.
one of them definitely doesn't notice.
It is the object is visibly magical and radiates dim light out to 5 feet.
Oh.
But one of them doesn't notice. And it already, it already radiates light. The other one might be a little harder to fool, but I'm not sure that he cares at this point. So they're waking up and they're a bit groggy and
back to the bazooka.
like, ouch.
Would you like a strip of frog?
they respond in like a tongue that you don't completely understand, and then when you hold it out,
What are they saying? What are they saying?
Give them one to each.
What are they saying?
they one of them wakes up swearing about who the heck you guys are.
Right.
The other one starts just speaking very loudly and slowly, kind of like, if you don't speak a language, you assume that that's somehow gonna make the person speak
Right.
the language. And he's saying, "Let us go now."
Oh, of course, we were just passing through, and my friend is a little anxious when it comes to traversing the maze, and well, he gets a little antsy.
You talk real good.
I do.
Not that I understand that, but
But she hit us on the head.
And you were firing a random thing.
Not at you.
Well, we didn't know that.
I don't know if I like you.
We did attack them out of nowhere.
Well, we can give you back your thing, and we'll be on our way.
My thing doesn't glow. Why does my thing glow now?
I don't know. I've never seen this thing before.
I think did
Carl?
You might want to go see a doctor.
Is it supposed to do this? How am I supposed to know? They gave it to you.
We don't understand.
It looks
Right, I know.
perfectly fine to me.
Well, it might be on the light setting, so.
What are they saying?
Oh, that's a good question. They're attempting to figure out why we might have attacked them. I'm attempting to defuse the situation now.
Because we're rude guests.
Not wrong.
we've been attacked by everything else that we've found, so it was preemption.
Well, I suppose, as long as we get it back, the master won't be mad.
Of course. Would you want him of the thing?
Oh.
The fake thing. There you guys go.
And I will untie the rope. And stand
Ask
back.
them why they want it so bad.
As a curiosity, what is it for?
Master wants more shadows.
Oh, I
Master
see.
asks us to make more shadows.
Which master do you refer to?
The goddess.
Ah, of course.
The shadows need to come somehow. Dark takes too long. Not reliable either.
Right.
Some of those shadows think on their own. Shadows do strange things here.
I see.
Are we free to go? Is she gonna hit me again?
No, she won't.
Next!
We're gonna let them go now. They'll be on their way. You may be on your way. Sorry for messing with you.
Are they leaving?
I'm waiting for them to leave, but
Well.
they're planning on leaving.
Well, we've
Here.
been trying to leave for a while, but
It's fair.
there's some problematic issues with that.
Yes, we've come across those problematic issues as well.
Did you see the loop?
Yes.
Hello.
Well, good luck with that.
Good luck as well.
Would you like to offer them the rest of the strips of the outside of my frog?
Would you like the rest of that man's frog?
Yes.
Yes.
Just pull out the last couple strips.
Like they just like suck it out of your hand.
All right. I guess we can continue now.
What did they say? We don't speak Kobold.
Basically, the goddess. I assume that's delirium or delight or whichever one they prefer to.
Delilah.
Yes.
Either Delilah.
Just sent them with the thing to make more shadows, because apparently she wants more. I don't know, like just more shadows.
Great.
That's the most talking
That
I've ever
sounds
done.
terrible.
That's the most talking I've ever done. That was terrifying. Shall we continue?
By all means.
Okay.
Thank you.
Are we going forward or are we going
Welcome.
back?
Well, we know what
Forward.
back is.
I think that it's probably one and the same.
Well, let's go forward.
Let's go forward and see what happens.
Alright. Which way did the kobolds go, by the way?
They went forward.
Oh, well, guess we're following the kobolds.
What if we went backwards?
Back through the looping door.
Maybe you have to
Is
go
it
the other way.
looping?
I don't
Not
know if that's what
exactly,
they were referring
yeah.
to.
What if you went the other way?
I'm gonna
Instead
turn
of
and go
going
back the
that way,
direction we
instead of
came.
going that way.
And as you go backwards and retrace your steps, your light illuminates the door again. There's a shadow cast to the back, and you stroll in, and the door is just still hanging out there.
It's still too small for us to walk through, though. So
Right.
Is there anything else around the clearing at all?
Just a door.
What if we break it?
I don't think we could. Janice. I mean, you've been cryptic, yes. But,
Crypt?
now would be a good time for some guidance.
Anything useful?
I'm just
we can
gonna
do that.
Can I just look around the clearing and,
Mhm.
maybe poke into the hedge and see if there's anything that's not obvious?
Sure.
What do you want? Investigation?
Yeah.
7. So no.
Nope. It all looks pretty pretty standard hedge stuff, except for the sheer height and volume. Uh-huh.
Well, I'm out of ideas.
Let me guess. Go through the door.
Yes. We will see how he wants to do that in just a moment. Um, so it still stands as is. And there is nothing else in the clearing that gives you much. Like, you can see footprints, but that's about it. A few animal tracks, few footprints.
Uh-oh. What?
Let's chat.
Well, if Janice isn't going to give us a way to go through the door, then I think we should just go ahead and move on.
Janice smiles and moves forward towards the shadow of the door that's being cast and pushes the shadow open.
Why didn't he do that the first time? Well, alright then.
Are you trying to help us at all?
He told you what to do. And I stepped through the door.
And I will follow.
Through the door.
I'm going to take a moment to compose myself and go through the door.
You all pass through the door, which leads you to the other side of the doorway. There is what looks to be the end of a forest in front of you that fades out into a clearing of plains ahead. To the side of you, there is a large mushroom. There's still kind of some myconiidal areas. I'm gonna say that's a word. I don't know if that's a word. We're gonna say that that's an actual word. And the one of the mushrooms to the side of you has on it a very large caterpillar who is sunbathing currently and smoking. Correct. Oh no! Hi, Jazzman.
That's not good.
Ah,
He looks over at you. You catch his attention. He adjusts his monocle. Hello. I was not expecting to see anyone come through this direction.
well, to be honest, dear, we weren't expecting to be coming this direction.
Oh, well, one always finds the things they aren't looking for, I suppose. Why are you here, then?
To get out, essentially.
Well, it's strange to go in when all you want is to go out, isn't it?
It is. But here we are.
We've been sent by the Dream King.
Oh, I haven't seen him around here for quite some time.
Yes, he's found it difficult to come this way lately.
How interesting is that? I wonder why that could be. It wouldn't have anything to do with the changes, would it?
We've never been here. We don't
Is
really
it
know
much changed?
Some parts of you seem familiar.
The tail.
An arm, a leg, a tail. It's hard to tell with these things.
I've
It's a
just got one
bad
of those
world.
smiles.
You do have a very memorable grin.
Can you cast invisibility?
I wish.
Did I take it?
So the Dream King cannot get through. Is that why you're here, Janice? Instead of your host? Strange to see you on this side of the gate.
I don't want there to be stats, but I want to know what the stats are.
Stats for an obnoxious caterpillar.
And that was probably informant caterpillar.
Janice looks to him and says, "Always a pleasure to see you, though. I don't frequently see you. I'm sure the pleasure is all yours. But it's always interesting to see you when I do. Why do you come to this side of the maze?" You say you are sent to help the Dream King?
Yes.
He adjusts his monocle a little bit. And what is it he wants you to do?
What was it that he wanted us to do?
How are you looking at me?
Everyone has forgotten.
I'm afraid it's a rather sensitive mission. Can't give out too much information.
Grats. Oh,
The other ones.
that's most unfortunate. And he's just like blowing rings of smoke into your face. They actually kind of smell like, I don't know what a unicorn fart would smell like. I'd imagine it's far more delightful than most. It's kind of like, this kind of strawberry
Freshly cut.
mint,
Freshly cut wet grass.
maybe some of that in there.
A unicorn smart or
Of course.
I'm gonna not talk anymore.
It's fine. It's fine. Well, if you do not give me information, I suppose I shan't give you information either.
That would depend on what information you want.
Well, of course, I can't tell you information you want unless I know the information you seek.
But we can't tell you the information that we have that you are seeking if we don't have information that you know that you have that we seek.
Oh.
And admittedly, we've already told you something. We were sent here by the Dream King.
Well, I suppose that makes some kind of sense. He kind of puffs up as though kind of masking the fact that he has no idea what weird little switchback you just did, but he doesn't
Neither
want
do
to admit it. Well, there are the 4 kingdoms, queendoms, I suppose. There, if you were sent by the Dream King, I suppose that it is in response to something to do with his sister. Am I correct?
You are.
Well, then it seems you must find his sister.
We have to let her know that hemorrhoids run in the family.
In my mind, I still think rats. Either way, perhaps unfortunate.
We're supposed to be looking for a tree, right?
For a tree?
Isn't player Braden doesn't
Player Brady
doesn't
2
delight.
weeks.
Yeah. We were told that she lives in a giant tree.
Were we?
I thought
Yeah,
we
I
were.
don't
I don't
remember that.
Tree.
That must have been a fever dream. All right, back into Henry.
What?
Fever dream.
Good idea.
I hear that the goddess lives in the mountain. She used to come out and be with us frequently. No one has seen her for weeks. There is a way into the mountain, but it is through a door, and the door, of course, is locked, and the key is a bit complicated.
I like complicated things.
Oh, then you should like the Red Queen's palace.
Go on.
Is that where the door is?
Or the key.
Both, maybe?
A piece of the key.
Scavenger hunt.
Janice does ask him for directions to the Red Queen's castle. He pipes up when you bring up the key, and he says that a piece of the key is there. Would you give us directions? Directions. A fun thing. I would say that you should just walk until you're done walking. But goodness knows where that will get you. The Nomad King might have a better sense of direction. The landscape seems to have changed since last I've wandered about. But the key you seek would be in 4 parts.
Okay,
Naturally.
naturally. Is there a picture of a key? Of this key?
A picture, perhaps not, but a carving, very much so. You would find that at the forefront of each palace. If you're to move forward, I would suggest also perhaps bringing something with you from my home. He gestures to the mushroom. I always forget what does what, but if you were to take a bit of the cap and take a bit of the stem, then something's bound to happen.
What do you mean by something? Like we'll die and be poisoned, or...
Oh, no, I wouldn't poison you. Of course not.
Does
That's-
identify work?
What's that?
I was wondering if identify would work.
Just try it.
It could. But it might change your size. Where once you were small, you might be tall. Where once you were tall, you might be small.
Nice rhyme.
He smiles. So I can gift you that. And it's very spongy. It's kind of more like, it seems more like cake than it does
Can we
mushrooms.
take some with us?
Well, I want to see which one does what
Of
first before we...
course. Oh dear.
I
Which-
could try.
I took some of the
identify.
cap.
You took some of the cap?
I'm gonna like step back.
You get this rumbling sensation in your stomach. And roll me a con save?
Oh, jeez.
What did you think was going to
I
happen?
don't know. Wait, really? That's my bonus? Oh, okay, that's a 6, not a 16. Sorry. 23.
Plus.
No, that is the
Oh,
plus.
never mind. Sorry. Never mind. That
No,
was my paladin, not your paladin.
Visible effect.
no sickness for you, but you do end up suddenly shooting up about 10 extra feet. You are now quite large indeed. Stephen completely loses it.
Just remembering I think it was a cartoon. It's the land of the giant Amazonian woman. Take me to your ladder. I'll meet your leader later.
Huh.
Okay. Well, I'm going to reach down and take a bit off of one of the stems that I'm assuming might make me small
Reverse
again.
the effect.
I'm guessing I have to make another con save.
Yep. He looks at you very wide-eyed as though it's one of those, I can't believe you just did that things. But
Do you
it's
need
fair.
to use the bathroom? I'm curious to see what happens.
A lake is formed.
I could step on you.
You could.
12?
Yeah, you're still alright. It's not a huge save. You do, after a couple of minutes, you start to get a little bit of a tummy rumble again. And then it's almost like you feel this pull in from your belly button that compacts you again. It's like this web kind of sensation in towards your navel that just suction cups you back down to your normal size. It's really uncomfortable. You handle it okay, but it's not the most pleasant feeling in the world.
That was unpleasant.
Well, I'll go ahead and take a bit of the cap and a bit of the stem and put them in my pack.
Yeah, I'm going to do the same.
You did better than the last person who tried that in front of me.
Oh?
Yes. They were throwing up for about a day and a half.
Oh.
I'll take some as well.
I am.
Mushroom cap and stem. Question mark.
I'm gonna take a sizable amount of both.
Fair
I
enough.
have a feeling we might need this.
So you all have acquired growing and shrinking mushrooms. Shrooms, man. Of course, in this place, I'm giving you shrooms. That just sounds like it should happen. So yes, you have procured shrooms. The caterpillar is still sitting there smoking quite a lot. So, what per se do you hope to accomplish in speaking to her, other than to warn her about her hemorrhoids? You're a strange group, aren't you?
Yes.
You have no idea, my dear.
Okay. Don't know if I'm much stranger than you.
I'm not strange at all. What do you mean by that? I'm perfectly normal. As his legs begin to kind of chrysalis, and he attaches himself kind of in a mushroom. This is a very average way to spend a Sunday or a Tuesday.
Which is today?
Wednesday.
Ah.
Is it really? I had lost track. Well, if you go straight ahead, you'll run into something important, I'm sure. I'm not positive of what's where anymore.
Well,
You did say that we should go to the Nomad King to get more specific information, correct?
Directions, he usually stays apprised. That's the wrong word. He usually stays on top of the latest geographical changes. Seeing as he does wander more than most.
Do you happen to know where we might be able to find him?
He is a nomad.
Yeah, figures.
Pick a direction.
Seems the way to go.
You kind of get the impression he's not the most helpful person in the world.
well, thank you. You have been informative.
I tend to be.
A penny for my Witcher.
What's a witcher?
Good question.
Oh. Very well. I shall maybe see you again. Or maybe I won't. Does it really matter?
Nope. And I'm gonna turn and start walking away.
All right then.
Good day.
Good day.
A good day. And he stays smoking his pipe on his little mushroom
All
cap.
right. Well, we're gonna venture bravely forth that way.
All right.
It bravely ran away.
By this point, sun is beginning to set on the plains. It is,
To rest.
yeah, it is getting dark. The terrain seems to shift every now and then in the distance. So the large mountain range in the backdrop of this, every now and then seems like it's churning, and another kind of peak will come upward out of nowhere, and another one might drop back. So it's occupying the same general space, but things are shifting. And as you begin to realize that the sky is getting dim, you start to notice that there is what seems like a sea of stars above you.
Well, all right then.
Well,
Am
shall
I
we?
still tethered to our guide? As far as our...
Oh, we have not specified otherwise, so I will let you choose if you have untethered yourself yet or not.
So it wasn't a physical tether, it was his stopping me from killing
Oh, that was an effect that he ended for you that could have restarted, but did not while you were in the maze.
Okay.
So currently you are alright. I was like, did he tie you to himself?
No,
I've
I'm sorry.
forgotten. No, you're fine. that is fine. Yeah, you kind of have that option. He's paying close attention to you, but the thing that you were struggling with at that time was an isolated thing.
Okay.
So,
I suppose we should find a place to rest for the evening.
Yeah.
Janice nods his head and begins to kind of just unpack tents
Well,
and such like
I
bedrolls.
suppose this is as good a place as any.
Yeah.
So, we'll start setting up camp.
Okay. So you have a camp site that is, it's actually a pretty comfortable area. With this being the plains, you can kind of lay down some grass and foliage and whatnot underneath to
Got
see.
some spells back.
Aha! Yes. And so it makes for a relatively comfortable area to camp.
Okay.
Do you do anything in the way of lighting fires or anything to that effect?
I would, yes. I would go ahead and gather grasses and things, whatever I can find for a fire.
Okay. So you have your campsite established. Would you like to do watches?
Yes.
Yes.
Right before we do
Just
that,
let it happen, guys.
my hound is probably gone by now. I will recast him for the evening to just keep watch
Nice.
as well.
To see the invisible things.
Yes.
I'll take
Excellent.
So
first
my
watch.
hound is.
I'll take second.
I'll take third.
I'll sleep.
Good
Or
night.
how many how many rounds is it usually for a?
3.
Is it 3?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll just rest.
I feel like there's something that Janice can do, but he stepped away right now. I feel like he might not have to sleep,
Oh, I don't.
but I don't
I
remember.
do.
You have,
I'm
to
just
like-
you have to meditate for 4 hours.
Right.
Maybe
But-
that's him too, so I'll assume
Is
that.
he a high elf?
He's
He's
a
just a Ladrin, isn't he?
Galadrin.
Yeah.
So-
They
Yeah.
have something that's sort of similar, though.
Yeah, so I'll just say that you guys are off cycle from each other as far as that goes, so he might take
First half.
first half, yeah.
Okay.
So, whoever's first watch. Okay. And go ahead and roll.
Perception, right?
Yes.
Hold on, let me see if my hound needs to make perception checks. That would probably be good.
26.
26? That's pretty perceptive. So,
This is so much better than last time.
the you notice that the stars are moving, and they seem a little closer to you than stars ought to. They don't seem like they're threatening, or like you don't get squigged out by it, but you're starting to realize that some of the things that your brain takes for granted are just normal around here. Like, you know, the skyscape and things like that don't work the same way that other things do that you are accustomed to. So, yeah, the stars above you seem like they are actively mobile.
Like, are they close enough that if I reach up really high and take my javelin and move it around, is it gonna do anything?
Not that close,
Okay.
but they're
Oh,
close
thank
enough.
goodness.
Like if you were to like have some kind of a flying spell or do something that involved flight, that you could get to them. They're not
Oh, good.
celestial bodies. They are closer than that.
They're fairies.
Or fireflies?
Or worse.
Seek the light.
Okay.
So yeah, nothing particularly threatening. You just notice that, and like some of them seem to occasionally clump up over you a little bit, but then they dissipate and go on about their business. That's
I like it.
it's about all for first watch.
I'd pass that information on to the second watch.
That's me.
Okay.
Okay.
The stars move. They're not real stars.
This seems normal. Everything's normal. It's fine.
It's fine.
So perception. Let's see how this
So this is
goes.
not Clara's perception. 11.
You hear normal night sounds. Nothing too crazy. Just like kind of wild animals. You hear a herd of something at some point, but it doesn't seem to get close enough to you to be troublesome. And kinda.
Sounds from home.
Yes.
Sounds from home.
Our home, not Claudius.
I know. Still.
Sounds a lot like you just set up camp in a cow pasture. No,
Gross.
not
As long
quite.
as it doesn't smell that way.
No, it doesn't. Smells probably a lot more like tall grass.
Mm.
There are worse things. So yeah, relatively uneventful. Nothing is attacking you so far. That's
I'll go
nice.
wake up third watch.
12.
12. You think you hear whispers?
Okay.
Can I make out anything of what they're saying?
Not with a 12.
No, I didn't think so.
It's free real estate.
Do I hear the invisible dog moving around at all?
I don't know. Does he? Is your invisible dog moving around?
Yeah, it's patrolling.
You occasionally
Keeping
hear
us safe.
a little bit of a. Roll your dog's perception.
I don't even. I guess it's just mine. I guess. So. 12.
My gosh.
Well, it just sees invisible creatures. It just sees anything that comes within 30 feet that doesn't know the password. So.
So every time, like,
Yeah.
you think you hear voices, you, I mean, that makes sense, Jazzman, but apparently not. Every time you think you hear voices, you hear the dog go, "Hurt," from somewhere close by to you. And then after a couple of moments have passed, you hear this,
I'm going to. So through the course of the watch, I'm gonna gather up like a pile of pebbles, and every time I hear the dog, I'm gonna fling a pebble at it.
at the dog?
At the dog.
You're just rude.
I mean, it's a
Jeez.
Cat.
Oh, that's right.
Dog.
I kind of forgot for a second that you're a tabaxi. Would the dog like to respond to that, Ring?
No.
You occasionally catch a "Arr!" He doesn't seem like he's wounded, but
Well, I'm not trying to hurt it, so it's just.
so he seems to notice the same things you notice. Let's see. Oh, okay. So yeah, the watch goes by without you being attacked, but you do hear voices.
Okay.
So all 3 watches go by without attack,
Okay.
All right.
and you wake the next day to see that the
Long rest. Apply.
Yes, long rest apply. Everybody feel better.
Let's move that. Let's move my spells around, shall we?
Yes, adjust spells as necessary. And you notice that the mountainous scene kind of far in the background looks significantly different than it did last night. It has changed quite a bit. For those of you who feel like this place is very familiar, this still seems odd. But it is what it is. So morning breaks, and they're really, like, it's a beautiful morning, actually. The sunrise is like fireworks in the sky.
The sun is shining. The
It's-
tank is clean. And we
Yes.
are about. Tank is clean.
Good morning, everyone.
Everyone's so excited in this party.
I guess I'll start breakfast then.
It's not gonna be frogs, is it?
Do you have any frogs?
No.
Go ahead and throw on some of my hardtack and stuff and get going.
While you're doing
Heat
that,
up a
I'm gonna
little
be over in the corner, grooming the tail,
You're gonna get a
So
disease.
no joke. Okay, that's a fail. So as you're cooking your food, there is this rustling from behind you, and roll me. I guess roll me a perception to see if you hear it
There's a
first.
rustling in the bushes.
12.
Yeah, I'll give it to you. You hear a rustling kind of a little bit behind you, and when you turn around, there is like there's a small satchel of like fruit and whatnot just kind of laid there in the grass behind you.
Whoever you are, would you like to come out and eat?
You hear this like scolding sound from behind the grass. What did you do?
Are you hungry? You can come
You
share.
gave us fruit.
What are you talking
Yes. Don't answer.
You know I can hear you both. Come on out.
So it takes a moment of deliberation and some arguing before they actually step out. But you can kind of hear this. They heard us already. We should go ahead and just go out. It's like, what are you talking about? He's gonna be mad. And at some point, the smaller one essentially just walks out and drags the other one with him. There are two children in strange armor standing in front of you right now. One of them kind of looks like he has spiked shell that he's using as a helmet, and like this strange crossed like leather. It's real makeshift armor.
Bangarang.
It's
about?
yeah. It's essentially the Bangarang armor, yeah.
Okay.
So these two children step out from the grass.
Why would we be mad?
Not you.
Oh.
Ooh.
The chief.
I see.
Okay.
The Lost Boys.
I don't want to be.
Why would your chief be mad?
Because we were supposed to just follow you, but you seemed nice enough.
Fair enough. Well, tell you what, we won't tell your chief if you don't.
Deal.
Done. Why don't you come get some food? Are these for us?
Yeah.
Yeah, bring them over here and we'll go ahead and cut them up and we can make something even tastier than the hardtack we had previously.
It didn't look good.
Do the best with what we have, you know.
That's fair. That's fair. We do too. We make really good armor. And
I can see
sometimes
that.
we make really good weapons.
I like it. We love weapons here.
Why do you need armor and weapons?
My dear sweet innocent Pat, we've been here for a day and everything's tried to kill us.
That is true.
Yes, they live here. I don't know. It's conversation.
There's a lot of dangerous stuff here. They're questing beasts. They can be nice if you catch them on a good day. And there are a lot of interesting things. The queens used to be really good. One of them's not so much anymore, so she sends bad things out. And you never know when you're gonna need a blade.
True.
That's fair.
How many queens are there?
There used to be 4, but now there are 3. But there are still 4 castles.
What happened to the fourth one?
Nobody really knows.
What's your name?
My name is Odd Swan.
Odd Swan. Wow, that is a name.
And yours?
Tools.
Tools.
I like it.
Well, you both seem very nice.
Thank you.
What kind of fruit am I looking at? Are these anything that I might be familiar with, or?
Something
No,
fun
not so much.
to share.
It's kind of a combination of what you would have seen in normal life and like these kind of strangely colored, almost like you would see in a children's picture book,
Okay.
interpretations of fruit that maybe they had never actually seen before. That sort of a thing.
Okay.
Weird.
So, are there any of them that are like a red or a pink hue?
There would be like some strawberries and things like that.
Okay. So, with my dirk, I'm gonna try to fashion like a flower out of one of them as I'm preparing food, and just give it back to them.
Ooh, that's pretty. I think I should name it. And Tools just looks over at Odd Swan and smacks him upside the head. Don't name your food, you moron.
It's a good rule.
Number for 911.
That's a good rule.
He just kind of looks at it and. So, are you going to try to see the goddess?
That is the plan.
I know that she can fix this. I'm excited to see this fixed.
So is that why you're watching us? What did your chief send you here for?
Well, our chief is with our king, and our king went to pick up our prince. It's a weird story, but essentially they're on the other side of the continent. But they knew that you were here, and they knew that we've been losing some of our tribe. So he wanted us to follow you and see if maybe it had something to do with you, or if you were fixing it. And we weren't supposed to show you that we were here because we weren't supposed to get caught in case it was you.
Well, we've only been here for a day, so couldn't have been us.
Who's your king?
The battle pan.
You knew that though.
Well, I thought maybe it was like the Nomad King. Like Peter Pan had a name that was the Nomad King.
No, in my mind I thought the battle pan is just like, does he wield a frying pan in battle?
just like more paint on a frying pan.
That's what I thought.
The Nomad King? Yeah.
So your king is the Nomad King.
Yes.
But he's on the other side of the continent right now.
Right now.
I see. How quickly does he move?
He can move very quickly when he has help.
Okay. Help from you? Help from whom?
Oh. He points up.
Her.
Them?
Oh, the stars.
They're not stars. You're silly.
You're silly.
I see.
They had to move up because it wasn't safe for them close to us anymore. So we have to send for them.
I see.
But they still help us.
The fairies.
Uh-huh.
You weren't wrong.
This is so much fun.
Well, come get some food.
Okay. And like as you invite them forward, you see that there are some other pretty big eyes that are just kind of peeking through the grass.
Do you all have some food?
I don't eat.
I do. I think we're gonna have to figure out how to forage here.
We can forage. We know how to get food. That's why we offered you some of ours, because that smelled bad.
Maybe we should have you teach us.
It doesn't taste as bad as it smells, but this will definitely make it better.
We thought so. I thought so. You thought so.
How many of you are there?
Right now, here there are 5. There are more elsewhere, but there are 5 on the scouting crew.
Okay.
So how long were you supposed to follow us?
Until we knew where you were going.
Well, I suppose you know where we're going then.
Now,
Yes.
yes.
long term, and then
Short
and then
term,
what?
we don't know where we're going.
Yeah.
We were supposed to tell the king, and if the king decided that you were safe, he was going to try to help you.
Okay.
We would greatly appreciate that help.
If he had decided you were dangerous, then he was going to have to try to defeat you because we've already lost too many.
Okay.
Are we noticing that Claudius is struggling over here?
You see his facial expression change for sure.
It's a pretty ugly face, though.
I mean, he is a minotaur.
Well, we're all headed to the same place, I think. So why don't you travel with us and we can help protect each other?
Maybe the other way around. Can you? Can you? I don't know if you can or if it's allowed, but could you take us to him? Your king, Battle Pan.
I can have him meet us.
Here?
It would, if you want to move, it would take too long. But if you're going, you said you're going to the queen?
Ooh,
We
we
don't
need
know how
to
to
get
get there.
Surely.
We
we
need to.
need to get
Yeah,
keys.
from what we understand, there are keys that will let us in to see the goddess. Those are supposed to be at the kingdoms. So, that's where we're headed.
We can get to the outside of the castle grounds. We don't go
Safely?
inside. Relatively. I mean, there are things that can do harm, but they're usually just beasts and wild animals. From here to there, there's not a lot, but the shadows have come, and it's harder to say that for sure.
Yes, we have had some run-ins with the shadows.
Shadow machine.
Did you go through the maze?
Yes.
Yep.
Did you see any of our friends?
I don't think so.
I don't believe so, no.
That's where we lost 2 of them. And we lost more and almost lost our prince on the other side in the forest. We're not sure if they were taken and killed or if something else happened.
Who's your prince?
Our prince, Prince James.
So is he... Obviously we're very new here. So we're still trying to figure out who is who and what is what.
That explains a lot,
So is he Battle Pan's son then?
yeah. No.
Okay.
No, he came from the outside too. And he comes a lot. He's come to visit for a very long time. And he pledged his allegiance to us.
Ah.
He knows this place better than almost anybody. Except for maybe the king.
You know the king then?
Well, of course, he's our king.
Well, he sent us.
Different king.
Different king? Oh,
Yeah, they're talking about Battle Pan.
oh, never mind. Sorry.
Who sent you?
A different king.
A different king. The king of dreams.
Well, he sounds important. Interesting.
Yeah.
But yes, we could move forward. I'm not allowed. Well, we are not allowed into the queen's castle.
We wouldn't ask you to.
Yeah.
But
But-
if you could guide us there,
We can.
that
We
would
can
be
do
most
that.
helpful. Yes.
There's a good lad. I will make sure that everyone else knows the plan as well.
I'm assuming this is Odswan that's been talking.
Yes. Tool just kind of is looking over his shoulder and still sizing you guys up. He's not sure what to think of you. You can tell that he's kind of
That's
slow to trust. But he's beginning to loosen his stature a little bit, so he seems like he's relaxing. And the other, Oddswan kind of gestures, and there are now 3 others that are kind of standing around your campsite. And
How far is it to the castle?
about a day and a half walk.
Okay.
It's not terribly far.
And who are you, young men? What are your names?
The other 3.
Oh, the other 3? Gotcha. This is Weeba. And he points to one that has kind of the spiky stuff all over. And this is Orolo. And there's another kind of short one that looks like he's about the size of Oddswan. The others are a little older, but they're still definitely all children. And we don't know his name because he can't talk. But he looks at you and moves. So we call him different things depending on what he's doing that day.
Smart.
I had a friend who didn't speak. I miss him. But I'm glad that you're here.
Well, we're glad that you're here if you're intending on helping.
We are at that. Well, if you want to lead the way, but stay close, please. Like I said, we're new here. We need someone to show us the ropes. Just a moment, if you would. I would like the 4 of us. 5 of us. Well, no, actually.
We're still indifferent with him.
I mean,
He's basically useless.
he's not here.
Yeah.
Let's try to keep them between us. If we can spread out 2 in front, 2 in back. They're really young to be here.
Are you going to be able to hold yourself together?
I'll be fine. This is not my first rodeo.
Well, I can.
Whatever the equivalent would be.
Are there rodeos?
I can
back then?
guard the back then.
If you would, yeah.
Who wants to help me guard the back?
I can do that.
Okay. We'll hold on. And I'll resummon Red Hound. We'll have him with us. I can provide you the front 2 with someone as well. If you'll give me a moment. I will pull out that little toy soldier I bought, and I will cast Tiny Servant.
Awesome.
And it will turn into life. I was like, if you will hold on to him, he has blind sight for 60 feet.
Dude! Convenient.
He just salutes and just like,
I can put him between my horns.
he is combat ready, so.
Sweet.
Combat ready toy soldier. I love it.
Love it.
Combat ready.
That's why I wanted the toy soldier.
It all makes sense now.
I wanted 10 to use animate object, but
It's not a
I
super
couldn't
long
I didn't have
game,
10.
but I'm doing that. Does everybody else have?
Yeah, we've already got them.
Um,
Oh.
All right.
like Jiminy Cricket, exactly.
So, we were just talking, and we want to be able to see the sights. So if you guys want to lead us, but we're just going to spread out a little bit so that we can see everything. Is that okay?
Okay.
Awesome. Well, meantime, actually, I haven't been able to do much since I've been here, but do you have any little pieces of wood? I'll
Sure.
trade you.
I have plenty. And he
As I
kind
say,
of
no, the
pulls
tiny
his,
servant lasts
his
for 8
knapsack
hours.
around. And what do you need them
As long
for?
as the-
I
as
have
long as
different
the hound is
sizes.
bound.
I just in my free time I do some carving, and I thought I could make something for you, whatever size.
Okay.
And I'll trade you. I'm gonna give him just a I'm gonna rub it a little bit. Just a gold coin.
Ooh, I like this. He kind of flips it in the air and catches it and just kind of starts.
Okay, and then as we walk, I'm just gonna sort of start carving a little boat.
No. That's cute.
Alright, and we shall patrol.
So you guys begin your path, and these guys seem to really, really know what they're doing when it comes to tracking. Like, they kind of, even though you know where they are, because you know where they are, once you start moving, it's like they vanish in the grass. These guys are super stealthy. Roll me your perception just to see how.
There's not
Oh, jeez. Yeah, there's no chance. 8.
a 9.
13.
24.
They've got a 28 stealth.
Oh, wow.
Luckily, the toy soldier knows where they are.
Yep, and like you know, because you are
Yeah, they're
aware.
They're like Home Depot employees.
Just fade into the plywood.
I love it so much. Yep, they vanish, and you are aware that they're there, and every now and then you hear like a whispered conversation or something like that, but if you didn't know that they were between you, you would not know that they were between you. It is impressive. And every now and then you'd see one's head poke up a little bit. One of them at one point, you hear a sound from kind of far off. It would kind of be a little bit like a cow, but more impressive. So a little bit like a sort of a thing. And you hear some other calls farther in the distance, and Tools pops his head up. It's like, everybody needs to get down now.
Okay.
And I'm going to flatten out into the grass, and that's a 25 stealth.
I'll find a bush.
You be stealthy. Everybody roll your stealth checks. You're going to keep moving forward, but you're...
Nope. First one. Okay. Stealth. Unnatural 20.
Holy jeez.
Hey.
Wow.
Thank you,
Thank
Thank
Chipper.
you, Chipper. And welcome to the weird club. Rocks, Games, and Jazzman. Jazzman was already kind of a part of the weird club. He just wasn't official yet. That is awesome. You guys rock. Chipper, you the best. But I'm weird enough already. You are kind of weird though, Jazzman. We like you a lot.
Alright.
So you what are our stealth counts here?
25.
Unnatural 20.
32.
Whoa!
Wow!
How is that a
I have a
thing?
19. I think I did the math right. I have a +9. Wait. Oh no. I think that's too high because you added in my bonuses.
Yep.
Because
Okay.
Steven
I was like,
helped
there's
me.
no
Like,
way.
how is that even possible?
That's because Steven.
You're not a rogue!
I was confused. Steven helped me write this, and he writes it out differently than I do.
Okay.
So,
Should be at 28.
hang on.
Did she
Yes.
ever exist? No one knows.
28.
28.
Okay.
That's still darn good.
21.
So,
Oh.
21. You guys
Roll me.
all
Yeah, we all
successfully
rolled above
hide. You can hear this herd of something coming by you. But as you, like, quietly move through the grass with your heads low, you are not detected by them, and they seem to move past you with relative ease.
Can we see what they are? What do they look like?
Do we want to know what they are?
If you would like to poke your head above the grass, you can.
I'm curious.
Yeah, I'm a
You're
cat, I'm
stealthy,
curious.
so okay. So, for lack of better word, this seems a little bit like a cross between a horse and a dinosaur. So, let me see if I can find a picture for
So,
reference here.
what's on
I should have
top?
had that. The head, the dinosaur head.
Okay.
I'm still.
Let's see.
So like
Just put a
a
raptor
one,
head
like so
inside
like
of
one
a
of the
person.
long necked ones, but hairy, like a woolly mammoth.
Kinda. It's a little bit serpentine, and it's got like kind of this. So yeah, like dinosaurish head. I'm gonna show that to you guys too.
Oh,
So a little bit of a dinosaurish head and a long whipped tail, and that sounds like whipped cream.
Giraffe dinosaur.
oh.
Yeah, it like
So,
horse
crossbred a giraffe and
build,
snake.
with the kind of leopard print vibe going on in the fur. Yeah. So it's a herd of those.
Okay.
Why do you have to make nightmare fuel? Because it's what I do. They are in the land of madness. It's not supposed to be easy to forget.
Oh.
So it's
I'm
a
just
herd
gonna-
of that.
Sink back down into the grass.
And you kind of hear another. The caterpillar was so friendly, though. You kind of hear another voice, almost like one of the Lost Boys is throwing their voice. And it's this weird, like, trilling call. And the questing beasts begin to go towards that. So they begin moving
Questing
away from you guys.
Oof.
Yes.
Bravo.
Wherever you are.
So yes, you manage to avoid their eye and continue moving forward. And after a few minutes, one of the boys kind of sticks his head back up and safe, and lets you kind of maintain your previous pace.
Okay.
You have to be careful for those. Sometimes they can work to your advantage, but sometimes they can be really scary.
Okay, that's fair.
They're really just like most other animals here, though. They just look a lot scarier.
Alright.
Fair enough.
They continue walking with you, and throughout the day, you do notice that a storm is forming over the mountains. But you are still currently clear of where that will be. You're far enough out from them that you still have reasonable climate and all of that good stuff.
Okay.
Let's see.
Alright, encounter.
Okay. So I have to remember where I wrote them. This is what happens when you have too much source material on too many sheets of crap. Alright.
Sharp.
Okay. So as evening begins to fall,
Are those new dice?
an eerie
I got new
mist
copper ones
begins to take hold of
I
the
got new
land.
copper ones as well.
That's awesome.
What's up ahead?
It's going to be in the PHP.
What you looking for?
Could I have you
Yep.
grab that for me? A mist begins to kind of rise as the sun starts to set. You guys have traveled for most of the day without too much crazy stuff going on. You do notice, however, that there are a plethora of animals that you have never in your worldly lifetime seen. There are birds that look like tiny pterodactyls. There are all kinds of really interesting insects. You manage to avoid most of their stings and sightlines and all of that sort of a thing. But this is definitely a place that is much wilder than anything that you've usually imagined.
Are we camping now?
Not yet.
Not yet? Okay.
As the mist begins to rise through the evening, first off, everyone make me a con save.
A con save.
Is it disease or poison?
Neither.
Is it magic?
Yes.
Is
I
it
literally rolled the same thing.
Is it a
Doesn't matter.
spell? Someone casting a spell?
Spell-like effect?
Alright, can't deal with that. Alright.
Oh.
That is a natural one. With my bonus, it's a
Okay.
4.
Okay.
You're fired.
But it's so pretty.
Yeah.
17.
17. Okay.
23.
23?
13.
13. Okay. So,
Well done,
Keith
Buckley.
and Nat, I would like to roll you to roll a percentile for me, please.
You just roll 2d10s.
26.
Yes, Natalie.
69.
Yes, we're all 12. Okay. So,
Nice.
Nice.
okay. So, for you, Keith, an eyeball appears on your forehead for the next minute.
It's gonna look
Or
real weird on a
actually, for
cat.
you, it's going to be until the mist fades, which is going to probably be longer than a minute. During that time, you have advantage on perception checks and wisdom saves
Oh, there you go.
that rely on sight,
Oh, good.
Excellent.
because you have 3 eyeballs. Congratulations.
That was weird on a cat.
Yep, she
Weird on
already
anybody,
looked kind of
but-
strange, but now Ellie is real wonky looking, and she can see way better and has no idea why.
Nobody tell me.
Nobody tells me. And for you, each creature within 30 feet of you becomes invisible for the next minute.
Or no, until the duration of the
And
fog.
for the duration of the fog.
So everyone.
Okay, are they invisible to me specifically, or just invisible?
Just invisible. The invisibility ends on a
So
creature when it
I've
attacks.
got 3 eyes, but nobody
It
can
doesn't
tell.
do anything.
So nobody can tell you because they don't know. So all of the sudden, everyone except you is invisible. Also to everyone else.
Well.
Stop.
Henry,
Yes.
Claudius,
Yes.
Emmy,
And this is where the Cheshire Cat really goes.
okay, we seem to have lost Emmy, Janice.
Voice.
Yes? No, that was one
I
of
was
the-
like, is that supposed to be Janice, or is
I'm here.
Thank you, Tools.
Well, I'm still here too.
you are here,
I'm
Emmy.
still here, dear. Yes.
Can everyone see Elaine?
Can anyone see anything?
Mm,
I can see
her.
Okay, everybody make it over to me, please. It's
Oh,
terrifying.
sorry.
I'm gonna pull out a rope.
I'm gonna tell my hound to just like point to where everyone is.
Alright,
I mean, we could do this a little simpler. There's long grass mostly around us, right? Like plain style. Just take my knife and cut a couple of swaths of grass, and just hand 2 or 3 to everyone.
you can't see anybody.
No, but they can see the floating grass.
That's fair. It's just not a terrible idea.
Does the grass not turn invisible now that it's in your possession?
I don't know.
I mean, it would make sense that it wouldn't, so I'll
But-
go with that.
Everything that they're carrying, I'm assuming, is probably invisible.
Well,
like their clothes
no.
and
Well,
hats and
it might be
things.
that only after. Everything when you cast a spell, everything is invisible.
But something that you add on.
Yeah, it
Probably.
wouldn't be.
Okay.
So I'll allow it.
Grass.
That works for me.
Alright, that's a
Um,
good idea, Claudius.
Claudius, can you hand me my
Why is everybody
little
invisible to
man?
me?
I don't know where you... here, take a couple of these pieces of grass. Okay, alright.
I do. Just keep an eye out.
It's just random floating bits of grass now.
Roll me a perception check.
Everyone?
Sure.
Okay. Oh. God. 12.
Perception.
18.
21.
sorry. 11.
So, you
Mm-hmm.
hear a growling coming from kind of to the side of you.
Is that your dog?
No.
No. Although the dog is now growling at the thing that was growling at you.
Oh.
I'm gonna drop the straw,
No, that's sick.
and I'm going to sneak over to where I'm hearing the sound, thinking that my being invisible is gonna hide me, and I'm being sneaky.
Well, you get advantage, so.
Which is a good thing, cause it's a 21.
Stealth?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. It does not see you.
What is it?
What is it?
You don't know. It's invisible.
Uh-oh.
Because everything within 30 feet is invisible.
Okay.
It can't see us.
Your dog
And we-
can see it.
Shh.
It can see you.
Oh, okay. So I'm going to put myself between the boys and the growling.
I'm gonna have my
so,
dog
so I
head
Where
can
the boys-
hear where the growling
Well, I can
is.
see the grass.
Right, but you assume it's the boys holding the grass.
But I can't
Yeah, because they're shorter than you.
actually do anything.
Invisible, but...
I'm just holding my toy soldier.
So I haven't even heard the growling, have I?
Nope.
I'm gonna have my dog take care
But
of it.
the growling has certainly heard you because for one single person, you make a hell of a lot of noise.
And I have no way of helping you.
I'm gonna dig up some dirt.
Well, shall we move on?
Sure.
Nobody's gonna tell me.
well, I'm not there to tell
These are
you.
evil people.
I
Well,
Um,
we're also
now-
just trying to be quiet.
Now, funnily, I could send an army after it, but
I don't feel like you want to use that spell. Whatever it is.
Insect plague or something.
insect plague. No, I was thinking toy soldier
Oh.
and like 10 animated clocks.
Okay.
Out of nowhere,
Sure.
a large something comes into contact with you.
So I was.
Roll
Okay.
initiative.
Yes, although now you can see it because it has attacked you.
Oh, good.
But it did roll where's the attack bonus? Plus 3. So that's gonna be a 22, which I assume hits.
Yeah.
What does it look like?
It looks like a half ogre.
Oh, well, half ogre?
Yep.
Oh.
I mean, you've already dealt with much worse, but this was a surprise.
Yeah.
So
No, I
it's-
wasn't expecting a half ogre in the middle of the forest. all the
so
things
that's
to
going to be
growl.
11 points of damage.
And initiative.
But now it can be seen, so
Right.
that's good.
Alright.
And you throw dirt at it? I think I'm gonna not take that as an attack. I think I'm just gonna let that be an action.
You have
So
thrown dirt at it.
I mean, it didn't matter because it became not invisible, but that was the purpose.
that's fair. Yeah, that's a good point.
Rolling initiative.
Now it's a dirty, visible half ogre. Not that it was clean to begin with. So, yes. Roll initiative.
18.
Okay.
16.
15.
10.
18, 16, 15.
Isn't it that initiative?
With you?
Yeah. Like,
Well,
that has always been my worst rolls is initiative.
Yeah, but you always get the most kills because by the time it gets to you, we've already hurt the thing, so you get the most kills.
Well, for Clara, it was more because of her area of effect stuff.
Yeah.
so 18?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I'm going to...
Charge.
I'm gonna get this stupid thing with my sword.
Hit the thing.
Well, that was a nat 1 for my first attack. And, 14.
That'll hit.
And I'm gonna throw a Divine Smite into this. So that is.
Third level.
What?
Nothing.
Oh, sorry.
Someone needs to learn
No, you're
about
fine.
his abilities.
What's that?
You just passed it.
Yep, I did. I realized that.
13 points of damage.
Kill it with fire.
Because when you play with
Acid.
fire, you get burned.
And that brings us to our 16.
Okay, so that'll be me. So I'm gonna run up behind this half ogre, and I'm gonna whack whack. You haven't been treating me well. Okay, so first attack.
You're being put in the naughty corner.
Would I be flanking?
You're invisible too. So.
And yeah, so
So it's advantage on the first
advantage on the first one. Geez, 17.
That'll hit.
Okay. So for the first one, it will take 7 points of slashing damage. And I would have come up so that I would have you on the other side of it.
I mean, I don't know that, but.
Well, yeah.
You
but,
do now.
But I
Oh,
do
that's
now.
a surprise.
Well, once he attacks, he's visible again, too.
Oh, okay.
So
People are beginning to.
that's gonna hit. So that'll be a 24.
Mhm.
6 points of slashing damage.
Okay.
And I will use a key point. Flurry of blows. 19
19. Yep.
for 11 points of slashing damage. And it needs to make a dexterity saving throw.
What's your dex?
I thought ogres are always super dexterous.
15.
15?
Yeah.
It fails, so it is knocked prone.
No.
So I have a question about this. So this is my open hand technique. It says, whenever you hit a creature with one of the attacks granted by your flurry of blows, you can impose one of the following effects.
Yes.
So I have done that once, but I get a second flurry of blows attack. If I hit, would you rule that I could give it another effect?
It says when you hit with flurry of blows, and it doesn't specify once
The
per.
first, yeah,
Nope.
the first flurry of blows.
So
Yeah.
you would say yes?
Sure.
Okay. So this is my second flurry of blows.
That's where I would go with it too, I think.
Yeah, it's the way I would roll, but I wanted to ask.
Yeah.
27 is going to hit,
Yes, it will.
and that will be 7 points of slashing damage with my claws. And it now cannot take reactions until the end of my next turn.
And it can't anyway because it's unconscious.
Sweet.
Okay.
So you now have a prone, unconscious half ogre.
Kill it.
Do you kill it?
Well, I assume it's my turn next.
Oh yes.
Kill it.
I ask,
Kill
I
it.
turn to the children. Do I kill it?
I mean, it was attacking you, so we
Oh.
generally do.
Okay. He will.
Kill
My
it.
dog will go first.
Coup de grace.
Does it auto hit?
I mean, he's
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 unconscious and
unconscious, so-
prone.
So, auto hit and crit.
sure.
Okay.
I'll
This is
allow
my
it.
dog, 32.
He now won that save, so it was.
Death by invisible puppy.
44
But
points
ogres are
of
so
44
funny.
points of damage.
Oh
By
yeah.
How many?
Oh, he's so dead.
44.
He's.
That's only because
Yeah.
it's a crit. So
But still.
It's gory, man. It's gory. You can describe that if you would like.
It's gory.
You have done well. Yes. And so now you are out of initiative. The kids are kind of raiding the body and see
okay,
if
Abby?
there's anything on it that
Oh.
they need to pick
Yeah.
off.
Excuse me. Yes, I'm quite fine.
One of the kids
You
comes
wonder what
over to
happened
you.
in their other life.
What? Like jump backwards. What's that?
Sorry. Licking the tail again.
Did I miss something? Or have you always had 3 eyeballs?
I'm not sure what you're talking about, dear.
You've got one in the forehead.
She's
What?
telling the
Ow!
truth.
Ah!
Do you want a mirror?
You look funny.
Do you have a mirror?
I can make anything. A small mirror.
Ba-boom!
Well, that's new, and it.
That suits you.
Don't be vulgar.
Actually, this might be the first time you've actually seen yourself, by the way.
I'm a cat!
You,
Uh-huh.
you just now noticed?
You have a tail.
Oh. Yeah. But,
I wonder what I look like. Oh! Interesting. I was expecting that.
I better look just in case.
Oh, sure, here.
I look like me.
I already know what I look like.
Well, I thought I knew what I looked like, but she didn't know she had a third eye. Or that she was a cat.
That's true, but then the third eye is.
Well, I knew I was a metal man. I didn't know what the face plate looked like, so.
You guys didn't know what you looked like?
Well, it's hard to find mirrors in the wild.
it's a long story.
It's been a while since I've looked into a mirror, so
That's fair.
I'll just dismiss the mirror.
Well, did you find anything useful?
Well, we found a couple of little tidbits, tools, and things like that.
You found tools.
Tools just holds up some like something akin to a really bizarre makeshift wrench and a little hacksaw. Got it.
That's fantastic.
Well done. Well, she'll be off.
Oh, wait.
It's beginning to get dark. It might be a good thing to start settling down, although we might want to get out of the fog first. I don't know how long this will last.
Okay.
This rolls in from time to time, but it's not particularly consistent, so...
Probably at this point my hound and the toy soldier go away now.
Alright.
Well, that'll be done. And we'll try to get out of the fog then.
You kind of see this trail in the fog, because it sits just above his head. You see it kind of trailing there, and he continues forward, showing you the way.
I'll recast my hound in the tiny servant.
Excellent. And...
So the last, probably, depending on how long we have to go until
Well, I'm just doing
almost
it
the
just in
end
case
of
anything
the
else
watch.
poofs
Last
into
watch.
existence. So
he pops his head up for a minute just to make sure that everybody's still behind him, and he has a long beard of feathers that's just hanging out on his face.
Oh,
now.
now I know. PTSD is settling in.
It's gonna turn into a potted plant here.
Yep, he'll turn into a potted plant at any moment. Kind of sticks his head back down and keeps going forward.
Well, luckily, it hasn't affected us again.
Now that you said that.
Oh, it's not for you. Tools suddenly develops a spectral shield hovering over him. So you just see this little right above his head, this little glowing light and they continue moving forward. It takes a while for you to get out of the fog initially, but eventually there is a clearing up a little higher that sits just out of the fog. So they lead you up to the clearing and tell you that it's a good place to bed down for the night. What they end up setting up as tents looks very Harry Potter tent-esque, in that like it's lots of interesting sheets on the outside and whatnot, and it's bigger on the inside, kind of a situation. So they actually invite you into their tent, which actually even has space for like a chimenea it's
A chimenea.
yeah, it's a little chimenea that's sitting in the middle of the room and has a stack tall enough to come out of the
Like
fabric.
a large stovepipe.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
mean a chimney?
No.
No, it's a different
No,
thing.
a chimney is built into a house.
Oh, okay.
Yes. This is like a little freestanding.
I know what they are. I
Finger
just
bob.
like.
Didn't know that was
I didn't know
what it
that's
was.
what it was called.
Yeah.
It's just like.
Chimenea. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
So, so there's one of those in the middle of the room, and this kid just keeps pulling stuff out of his bag and setting it up and setting it everywhere to make sure that everyone is comfortable and whatnot. And I think with it being about 9, if you would like, we can leave it there, because that seems like a
That,
decent spot
that
to
works.
stop.
Emmy will find a corner and sort of curl up and fall asleep.
I know it's not a great cliffhanger, but it's still a good stopping
It's a good
spot
stopping
for a
spot.
hymn.
That's fine.
So
Should we
Doesn't-
do watches before or?
yeah, let's go ahead and do watches before. We'll go ahead and do that
Okay.
part
Start fresh in the
beforehand.
morning.
I can take first watch.
I'll take one, I guess.
I can take second if you want to take third.
And I will sleep through the night.
Excellent. First watch. First off, you see. Let's see, which one would it be? It would probably be Odd Swan. You see Odd Swan step outside with something that looks like a little incense cone, and he lights it, and one of the stars actually comes down to the trail of smoke, and you see him curl up a little piece of paper and hand it to this translucent looking pixie. Like, the skin is... Have you ever seen a glassfish?
Mm-hmm.
Her skin is translucent green, but she's essentially see-through. She's a glassfish pixie, essentially.
Cool.
And he hands her a little slip of paper and whispers a message to her and sends her back up. And you can kind of see this little starlight like glinting across the sky. And he comes back towards the entrance of the tent where you've posted. So, you can talk to him, you can ask whatever, or you can just go ahead and make your perception roll and see what you find out.
The roll is 14.
Okay. Things seem reasonably quiet, like there are some strange sounds and whatnot coming up from the fog, but you kind of assume that's just because any creature that is stuck in there is having a really interesting day right now. And just imagine like a cricket with a beard of feathers or something like that. That's, yeah. Everything's a little strange below you, but you don't hear anything that makes you think that there is something scary afoot. So.
I won't ask questions for now.
Okay. Was it just you on that watch?
Mm-hmm.
I'm on second watch.
And Tools comes and kind of kicks back next to you. Just he's like 12, going through his tweens. So it's kind of
Rough age.
yeah. He's awkward, but he's sitting next to a minotaur, and that's kind of cool. So, yeah.
So throughout the watch, I will. I think if we travel about 8 hours, yeah.
Mhm.
I'll go ahead and finish up the boat, and I'll hand it to him.
That's really cool.
It'll float too if you put it on water.
Like witches?
Churches, small rocks.
Did you say churches? I like you. Heh. That's interesting. You do good work.
Thank you. It's a hobby I picked up. Where I lived, sometimes food was scarce, so if you had something you could do to trade for food, you did. This was what I did.
I know that feeling. I stole a lot. Once upon a time.
I did my fair share of that myself.
We didn't have much. I have a lot more here. I like it more here. At least
Me
it
too.
did. You gonna stay?
I might, yeah.
We've had some people stay. I like it when people stay. Not a lot of people have stayed.
It's hard when I don't.
It is. I don't like that we lost some of ours already. He kind of sets the boat down, kind of to his side, but he's still like very intently looking at it, like while he's talking to you. I just don't feel like they're gone. But I don't know where they are either.
Maybe they're not.
Maybe not.
With any luck, we'll find them.
I hope so.
Me too.
He kind of slouches down and gets kind of tween broody.
I'm just gonna go ahead and pop the little clasps on my capelet and throw it over the top of him and keep watch.
Go ahead and roll for me.
This is not gonna be good. Oh! Well, that could have been a whole lot worse. Unnatural 20.
So, again, you feel reasonably safe. Nothing seems to be actively threatening you at the moment. I'm not totally done with your character yet, by the way, too, but I'm going to do all of that in just a second.
Okay.
So, you do become aware that there's movement in the sky above, like some of the stars are moving back and forth and seeming to communicate. You also can see a ways in the distance that there is a pretty palatial structure that looks like it's a good ways out because it's kind of up on a hill and you can tell like it's gonna take a bit to get there. But you can see all the way from here that there's a pretty gigantic fire going kind of in the middle of the courtyard. So those are things that you notice, but nothing is causing you danger right now.
Is Tool still awake, or is he nodded off?
He's awake. He's kind of staring off into the sky, and then he'll look back at the boat for a little bit. And he's not apparently being very perceptive. He looks very lost in thought because he rolled a natural one.
Do they often have a big fire near the castle? Do you know? I know you guys don't go into the kingdoms necessarily, but
We used to. But the Red Queen's castle is off limits, at least until we sort all of this out.
that's fair.
It's not what it used to be. There have been a lot of fires there recently that I've seen, just from a distance. I almost got caught there. And I don't want to go back there again.
I don't want you to either.
Things there are very different there are traps and there are people being held, creatures being held against their will. I tried to free one of them, me and my friend. He didn't make it. And he just kind of casually leans back like he's trying to be tough. And it's like, she takes their heads when they don't make it.
I see.
Roll me a wisdom save.
Wait, what?
13.
A lot of the feelings that you have had looking at kids playing in the street, trying to help them, knowing that success is at best limited and temporary. All of those feelings kind of come rushing back in. And you see the face of like every child that you've ever lost in this one poor kid. And it eats at you on the inside. And you can kind of feel that while you're hanging on, it's by a thread. And you're not totally sure what would happen if that thread got cut.
So the stick that I have from my frog, I'm gonna take out a smaller dagger from my pack instead of my dirk, and I'm going to start carving something akin to a totem pole. But I'm gonna try to show him how I'm doing it as I go.
He picks up one of his knives and starts sort of trying to imitate you. And he does a pretty decent job. I say that. Let me roll for him and
Always
see.
cut away from yourself.
Okay, actually, it looks like rubbish.
Takes time. But yeah, always cut away from yourself. Keep your fingers tucked if you have to be in close to them.
And he kind of looks at you, and you get this idea of like this person who is feral and has forever lacked any kind of a father figure, just looking at you like, oh, this is what this feels like. And he eats it up. He really likes it, and now you have this strange little shadow. The rest of the watch goes by, just enjoying each other's company and making sure that everyone stays safe, and they do. Who is next up?
That would be me.
All right.
I'll conjure a chair to sit in. I'll have the tiny servant patrol the opening. I'll just have the dog right next to me.
Awesome.
I love it so much.
I do too. Odd Swan kind of comes and sits next to you.
Again, he's taking 2 shifts.
Oh no, Tools was with him.
Odd Swan was with me.
Oh,
But he did go back in, didn't he?
yeah, he did go back in.
Oh, right, he just came out.
Delivered
and
his
did
message.
the
Yeah, he did
carry.
his message thing and then came back in. So he sits next to you, and I was like, "You're an interesting person.
How so?
I can see how you work." He points to like some of your inner workings and whatnot.
Yeah.
I can't see how other people work. That's special.
That's one way of putting it, yeah.
I think if anybody can actually fix the Red Queen, it'll be you.
Why do you say that?
You're made of similar stuff to what she likes.
Interesting.
I think that you could probably do well. We've had some other visitors come through. I think that's actually where the prince and the king are. I think they're with them.
At the Red Queen's palace?
No, they're across the continent.
Oh, okay.
But they'll meet us soon. But I think that this is the biggest group of people we've ever had come to help. When the first man came, we were just pretty sure that all outsiders were going to do the same things.
The first man?
Yeah. There was a man who came in from the gates who wasn't escorted. Almost everybody who comes in is escorted the first time. And that's when everything started to change.
What did this man look like?
He's looked like a lot of different things. I know that sounds weird, but it's like he could make you think of him the way he wanted you to.
Okay.
So the first time I saw him, he was big and scary. And the second time I saw him, he was small and seemed nice. But I still didn't feel good in my gut about it. And sometimes I see him in my dreams. And I don't like that very much. But I think that you guys might be able to do something good here.
Well, I hope so too.
I mean, there are always things that are scary here. But this is the first time it's ever been like this. Things changed and moved, but the mountains never did that. And he kind of points up at the mountains, and they are actively churning up. And you can like see some cracks where like there's magma below and things to that effect that are actively reshaping. It's well off in the distance,
Right.
so you don't feel like you're in danger of anything, but it's definitely a foreboding looking place.
How long has that been going on for?
A few weeks now? Maybe a month. I lose track of time. I'm not good at time.
Yeah.
And he kind of stares across. I haven't been able to tell time in so long. But you have a lot of watches.
I do. That's one of my problems as well. I never know what the time is.
How can you not know what the time is? You're covered in watches.
I'll pull like 2 watches out. Well, I have many watches, yes, but both of these show different times. So how do I know which one is right?
Oh.
That is my dilemma.
Oh. That's a good question.
And here, apparently, it's different. Time works differently.
I don't even know how time works here. That's interesting. Go ahead and roll me perception.
Sure. Because it's the end of the session. Because it's the end of the session.
It's the end of
16.
So yeah, you see, of course, the mountain in the background changing. You become aware that there are whispers coming from above you. The sky is doing that. Not that that's at all creepy. But once again, you don't see, like, you see out in the distance, you see a herd of questing beasts. So it's kind of terrifying to look at, but they don't seem to be paying you any attention. So for all intents and purposes, it's being a calm night. So with that, did you want to talk any more to him?
No, I think...
Okay. So everyone, roll me a wisdom save.
If you're within 10 feet of me, you get advantage.
Nice. This is while you are sleeping. I know not all of you are sleeping at the same time, but I'm going to handle this all at once.
You said intelligence, right?
Wisdom.
Wisdom.
Oh, I wish it was into 12.
12.
So
Okay.
I guess I'd be sleeping sort of within 10 feet of you.
Or 14 if I was sleeping close.
15.
12.
12.
22.
Okay. So, something that you guys all noticed last night was that you had actually really, really good, uninterrupted, unencumbered by dreams sleep. It was almost a little too quiet in your brain because you're accustomed to having some form of dreaming happening, and there was nothing. So it was a little bit on the eerie side, but it was also really restorative. So tonight is a little bit different. You kind of have a similar experience, like you feel this thing like pushing in your mind as though it's trying to get in, but it doesn't make it in. The rest of you have a different experience. For you, Henry, perhaps it was the fact that, well, actually, you would have already slept by this point, so it wouldn't have been him bringing it up. You dream of a white rabbit that insists that you are late.
Okay.
For a very important date. No time to say
This
beloved by your
rabbit
your
keeps holding this clock up into your face
Oh, jeez.
and telling you that you are so late and that the queen will never, ever forgive you. And all you're seeing is the hands just swirling. Like they're just chugging along at record speed.
Alright.
And as he tells you that you are late, he grabs your arm and pulls you forward towards this giant clock tower that is on fire.
Alright then.
You wake up and you're in like this cold sweat. Like, A, because you're pretty darn sure that you're late for something and that really bothers you, and B, because flaming clock tower.
Yeah.
So, all of these things, not pleasant.
How does a metal man wake up in a cold sweat?
Oil just leaking everywhere.
Yes, oil leak. You have an oil leak. And Emmy, you go to sleep and it starts off similar to the night before where it's quiet and calm, but you feel this invasion into your mind, and then you see this image of yourself standing on this black sand, and it's just empty. You can see black sand as far as the horizon, and a wind blows this fine sand up into your face, and you realize that you are completely and utterly alone. And you feel your heart sink a bit as you realize that everything before you is empty. And for you, as you go to sleep after talking to Tools, you imagine your favorite of your street urchin clan standing in front of you, still in this wild atmosphere, this dreamland scene. in a similar outfit to what these lost boys are wearing. And you see him with tears in his eyes as he looks to you and comes towards you, reaches out for your hand and takes it and looks up at you and says, "Come with me this time." And you start walking towards this dark shadow. And you bolt awake, feeling this wrenching sensation in your chest. And that is going to be where we end this.
You got your cliffhanger.
It's not exactly a cliffhanger, but it's closer than where we were.
Emotional.
Emotional cliffhanger.
Very much so. Well done. Very well done. Bravo.
Everybody have fun?
Oh, yeah.
Awesome.
Yes, very good. So thanks guys for joining us tonight. Hope you are enjoying the sessions as much as I am. It's nice sometimes to get to this side of the DM screen and everything that we do to set up to do the streaming and be on the player side of things for a little while. I'm having a lot of fun with it. We will be back probably next week. We may look into if things keep going on as far as pandemics go. We may look into trying some alternative venues. Let's say maybe some online things that we can do if God forbid players around the table get sick. We're hoping that that's not going to be a thing.
Or if they just end up being exposed to somebody who is for any
You wouldn't want to
duration.
bring that here.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we're gonna do our best to keep everybody around the table healthy, get everybody healthy that's a little bit down right now. You guys take care of yourselves wherever you are. Stay healthy, stay safe. We definitely like having you guys around. So keep up with events and we will see you guys next time. Just some quick reminders. We do have our YouTube channel where you can go and find all of the full episodes, as well as I think at this point there's a recap for the first session of Delirium's Domain. We'll work on the second recap here shortly and should have that up for you guys before we stream next week. We will be back next week, same time, same regular place. We also have our Discord server. It's a good place for you to keep up with events on the channel, news, things like that. And you can even engage with us in the in-character section. Bring a role-playing character from whatever system you like. We can get together and just work, interact in character. It's a lot of fun. I don't have anything else for you guys. I hope you guys had a good time, and we will see you next week. Until then,
Grab your bats and grab your balls.
and remember, if all you have is a glass house, everything looks like a hammer.
That's not how
I like it.
Strike that, reverse it.
Strike that, reverse it. Then if all you have is a hammer, everything looks like a glass house. Good night, everybody.
Good night.